some setting. Oh, hello, everybody. I I was having microphone issues again tonight. Surprise, surprise. It is completely a me problem, but I'm gonna figure it out one day. I said I would last time, and then I didn't because I had a crazy long weekend. And when I came back, I didn't have time to deal with any of that because um we have this bankruptcy that was filed while I was out of town. So I'm gonna try to keep my voice up. Sorry. Yes, Brad's here. Bruce is here. Everybody's here. I'm so excited. Yes, very, very, very excited. Um, yeah, so I've read the filing. There's a lot to cover. I'm gonna try to do it very concisely as we have in the past. Going to go ahead and just pull it up and go at it because wow.
Let's go.
My screen. And why are there two of these?
That's what we always ask.
Okay.
Twins.
Right. So this is our voluntary petition for an individual filing bankruptcy. Up here, we have the box check for Chapter 7. I will say that I was very impressed with everybody when I did come back to this and started reading all the comments in all the places. And everybody was calling out things that we've talked about before. So that made my heart a little happy.
Yay.
Yeah, people are learning some things and noticing things that I mean, I think proper adults should have some of this knowledge. Whether or not you need it later is a different story, but filling out a bankruptcy application you can think of in the similar way of filling out your tax returns, right? There's a program for it. You can enter the information, but then you can also double check to see if it's accurate. Same thing. But we all file taxes more often than we file for bankruptcy, I think.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yes, and people are learning and getting library cards, and that also makes my heart happy. I actually have to renew mine. I got an email on Monday as well that mine is I've got to renew it within 30 days, which is great.
I don't think I've ever gotten a notice that I had to renew my library card.
Yeah, ours lasts 3 years for residency purposes. My little town is kind of, I don't know the word for it. It's just like they think they're special. And so, you've got to prove you live here all the time. And it's crazy. But yeah, especially now, like with all the cooperation you have with libraries, right? With all the different library sources and stuff. Like I have 14 different groups of libraries on my library card.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like the whole state of Michigan covered pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. And some like Genesee County, I can get 14 books a month. It's crazy how many books you get, ebooks or whatever. It's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
I love the magazines. I like magazines, but I like specialty magazines, like photography and embroidery and all the nerdy things. So anyway, so hello, Wendy. Welcome. Hello, Fletcher boy. Welcome. Yeah, lie, allegedly. Right. Oh, okay. So anyway, let's get to it. We've got your full name, which again, for most of us would just be maybe a regular, like your current name and maybe a maiden name. But of course, Miss Owens is also known as Emily Laura Wilson, which I don't think was it listed that way in her name change? I don't know.
I think it was just Emily Wilson, but
that's what I thought.
But then
I don't think the Laura was in the middle before.
But we also know that she's gone by Laura Michelle Owens, so that's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Also,
go ahead.
That thing says list names you have used in the last 8 years. So where would she have used this? If it was a failed name change attempt, to me that means it wasn't used because it never happened.
Right. I feel like it's been used somewhere, I'm sure. Whether or not it would become an issue anywhere, I don't know. But it's,
Okay. So we just
Also,
we don't know yet.
I mean, or she just doesn't understand how things work and she put it down just in case, which I mean, hey, over disclosing is better than not disclosing, right? So,
I I would say filing a court document to have your name changed is an attempted use of a new name, so it's better to list that than to not.
yeah, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Like I said, better to over disclose than not than to not provide information that you should have. Uh because I don't know if she's watching, but Sour Doreen, she'll tell you chapter 7 trustees are a little more ruthless and they'll keep you in line a little harder than a chapter 13 trustee, I guess. So yeah, so anyway, we just go down through the boring stuff, the mailing address, um do you live where you're filing? Yes, blah blah blah. Nobody cares about that stuff. Of course, right out the gate, I'm irritated. We're on page 3 because we're requesting that our fee be waived. And to my knowledge, I don't believe it's very common to get your application fee waived, your petition fees waived for bankruptcy. That's kind of like the thing. You have to at least be able to afford to file. You have to save up sometimes to file. And so that's just a little irritation for me. And there's a form that she completed that goes over some of that. And I don't know, we can either jump into that now and then be done with it, or maybe we'll
Well, I
just
think
do that.
she's thinking on the I've been declared indigent by the state, so therefore, in addition to filing bankruptcy, hoping that they're going to give me my fees.
Yep. Yep.
Is
And it's
is the annoyance because like it's a request, right? So to me, it seems like if it says, "Hey, you can do this if you're filing Chapter 7," why not just do it opportunistically, right? Is there a reason that you find it
maybe I'm just annoyed
egregious?
by maybe I'm just annoyed in general, right? Like maybe it's my predisposed bias at this consistent, I'm going to utilize resources that are meant for other people constantly in every avenue of my life, even though I'm pretty well resourced and privileged. And that irritates me. So it's not necessarily for a professional reason or,
Mhm.
even like in my unprofessional opinion, it's just that watching this particular person continually get fees waived and resources
Yeah. So
assigned
it's
to
not
her.
the procedure, it's the
Yeah,
optics of her antics.
yeah, yeah. Because like I said, as we'll see, let me grab it real quick. I don't know.
So the interesting thing is that, according to the stat or the little bit that's listed there, it says you have to be less than 150% of the official poverty line that applies to your family size. So,
Mhm.
by virtue of her living with her parents, would her parents be included in her family size?
I think this is where the Owens got hung up on their bankruptcy form in a different calculation line, as far as what their allowable medical, I think it was either insurance or expenses were allowed to be. So, yeah, I think that could be. I think that's a gray area where you could argue probably either way. I'm sure that there is an official rule book and chapter and verse about what you're supposed to do, but I could see anybody making a mistake, or even I shouldn't say mistake, an error where they include family members that they shouldn't have.
Right.
But it's weird because, going through this, we'll see like she's not claiming that she makes any money or that she has in a while. So that's very interesting because um it's opposite of what she said before. It's just absolutely wild. Okay, hold on here. Let me go to.
What is the size of your family? Your family includes you, your spouse, and any dependents listed on Schedule J of your expenses.
Well, it helps if you read the actual form too, which
Yeah.
I did not.
But
So her parents wouldn't be her dependents.
No, but she would be a dependent of her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She'd need to be. I mean, what other scenario is there?
Yeah.
Right? Let's go to that actually real quick. I'm going to share this one real quick.
If the businesses that you claim make truly no money and you're claiming, I think it was something like $3,300 of monthly expenses, but you list no income, well, where's the money? Because something has to have gotten paid.
That's the most annoying
That's odd.
is that like they make it make sense, right? Like make it make sense. How to make that go away.
Yeah. Either the parents are paying for it or it's accumulating debt.
Yeah, right. And so, well, there's all kinds of problems. We'll go through that.
Yep.
Because that's that's the thing. Either you have money and you can sustain this lifestyle, or you don't and you can't. And there's throughout the form, it's almost like a back and forth, like we see with the parents. So, oh, she did say the size of her family is just her. Okay. But in the scenario, I don't know that would matter. It would just make you more eligible if you included the parents. But if you have zero income anyway, then you're already eligible, right? You're already under the 150% poverty level, because here we have zero income listed, not even governmental assistance, no SNAP, nothing, just out there, dogging life. We don't have any assistance. Don't expect any changes in our income by more or less than 10% over the next 6 months. So here they tell the court why you're unable to pay your filing fee. In installments, they'll even let you do over 120 days. So her her explanation is, I currently have no income and no ability to pay the filing fee. If it were a horse competition, would you? I am fully dependent on my family for basic living expenses and cannot afford to make payments now or within 120 days. We're gonna see, like in the actual filing, where there's then it's like this didn't even, like, oh, forget that you even heard that, right?
Right.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, this is what she says on this form, that her estimated monthly expenses are $4,077.63. They don't cover debts for anybody else. That's not included in in the family, which would just be you. This is the interesting part. Does anyone other than you regularly pay any of these expenses? And the answer is yes. How much do you regularly receive as contributions? And the amount here is $2,750 monthly. And that blows my mind, because from who? From where? How? I don't know.
Was this
wild.
Was this supposed to be from the Schedule 1 your income? Because it says copy the total from line 11.
Yeah, and it doesn't match. Like on that schedule, we'll go over it. It's zero. So this is the only place we see this number. To my knowledge, I could have missed it, but to my knowledge, this is the only place we see this number.
You're saying this 2750 is never broken down anywhere, and there's no other attributes about it, like where does it come from?
No explanation. Nope. No telling us where, who, what, when, how, what. Or the other thing is, this $4,077.63 doesn't match her broken down expenses on her expense schedule either. So it's just all kinds of wrong.
Uh-oh.
Oh, so she's got $7.77 in cash. I don't know.
But that didn't even match the cash that she put on the other one.
No,
What
it doesn't.
It was like $7.44 of cash.
Is it this Bank of America thing?
No, there's a line item for like how much cash do you have on your person or in your residence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I searched the couch cushions and found $7.
Right. And
It was 774, and she put 777 on this one.
yeah.
And it's like,
And
how did
then
you find 3 cents?
Maybe she found 3 pennies, Brad. I mean, come on.
well, we've got Bank of America. We've got a checking account that has 774 in it. So I don't know. We also have Charles Schwab that has an even $618 and an E-Trade account, $414.41. So these two are interesting to me because I don't know if this makes you eligible for getting your fee waived. We'll find out, right? And then her vehicle she owns, she puts numbers all over the place, and I'm going to try to not get hung up on it when I go over this, but her numbers are all over the place on these documents. Like here, her current value on her car is 13,281 and she owes 17,336. I think somewhere in the other filing those numbers are flip-flopped and it's annoying.
Yeah.
So basically, have you paid anyone for services? This is kind of the same stuff we'll see in the other filing. Have you filed in the last 8 years? Have you paid and has anyone paid someone on your behalf for services for this case? So this is all no, no, no. And then we have under the penalty of perjury, which we know carries so much weight. With her, she testifies that she declares that these statements are true. So, yeah, no, she's got a vehicle. She's got a vehicle. The question is, wait, I thought they didn't have a vehicle.
There was 2 cars in the garage, and one of them is now declared as hers. So
yeah.
There were 2, Brad?
I'm pretty sure there were 2. It looked like a 2-car garage.
I thought one half, I could be wrong, but I thought one half of the garage was just junk. But there could have been a car and I missed it because
I will absolutely verify, but I thought there were 2. And
I remember there was a big pile of like Amazon boxes in the body cam footage.
Let's go check the video.
But anyway, interesting stuff.
Let me close this one and then there we go. Get back to this one.
I definitely saw the Hyundai logo in the body cam footage. So Hyundai, it matches up for that one.
So a lot of people are saying it was the other side was boxes and one car. I think there was a golf cart or something. Maybe.
A golf cart?
Yeah, I feel like somebody mentioned that. But I swear, sometimes I think I've seen something about this case and it must have been a dream because I can't ever find the comment again, right?
Well, if anybody can find another vehicle, it's Brad.
So we got to page 3 before I got sidetracked and annoyed. Anyway, we're going to go down here to have you filed for bankruptcy within the last 8 years? No. Are there any bankruptcy cases pending or being filed by a spouse who's not filing this case with you, or by a business partner, or by an affiliate? Well,
there's a problem there because
yep,
she has a declared
there's
I think that's the problem that she's going to run into is that she'll claim I was removed from the ownership of these, or from my ownership percentages of these companies, so therefore I am not tied to them. But then she lists them within the thing because she was previously associated with them.
Yep.
But the problem is,
so that's the thing, and I mean, so the form that okay, so Liz Max, let's just talk real quick, please, because of this question. Liz Max, she filed in March of this year, right before her appeal was filed, actually, to be honest, like days before. She removed herself as a member of Liz Max. Liz Max is the LLC that has an ownership interest in the Airbnb. Okay. That form is important because it doesn't just say, I'm currently the managing member, I'm not in that role anymore, and now Elizabeth Owens, Jan, whatever you want to call her, is the new managing member. And so what you typically see in LLCs is some of that activity happening on the like state side on the front end, but then still in the background, there's like a membership agreement that says, Laura is still a member. She's just not part of the
Managing
day-to-day
group
operations,
or
whatever, the management of it. She doesn't have that kind of authority. They think they're protecting themselves. In this case, I don't think they are. But anyway, in Laura's case, in the Liz Max case, I mean, she specifically stated that she was removing herself as a member. She is no longer a member of the LLC at all. So that part's interesting to me. I don't know why she would have listed it as my side quest there. I don't know why she would have listed it in the schedules when she said that. Maybe there's an unfiled document that puts her back into it. I don't know. Do you rent your residence? No. So we're gonna go to line 12.
So Tiff, for that other
Sorry.
bankruptcy case one,
Yeah.
are you saying, is your advice like she should have put her parents' bankruptcy on here, even
Yeah.
if she was trying to sort of divest from these business arrangements?
Yeah, because to my knowledge, she's still a managing member even of Quartet.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean Keybecker, her and Sarah are on Keybecker, to my knowledge. What's the fourth one? Stylet. Stylet is weird to me because I don't know. I've not seen actual Stylet filing forms, registration forms. I've seen Good Luck Company. I don't know if she was running it under a DBA. I don't know. Stylet's a weird. I can't wrap my head around that one. So I don't know who owns that one. I don't know who I could probably look it up, but we have all the documentation and our research. But anyway, yeah, I think to answer your question and not go off track, Bruce, yes, I think it wouldn't have hurt to disclose, right? If you're gonna say I go by Emily Wilson, then you should also disclose that I live with my parents and they also filed bankruptcy, right? And I am in business with my parents and they also filed bankruptcy.
Or go ahead.
I would say so here's the scenario. So she discloses on her request for a waived fee that she's getting $2,750 from family. It doesn't specifically say whether it's coming from her parents or not. But if she also discloses, hey, they're going through bankruptcy as well, well then my future income is going to be impacted by the fact that they're going through bankruptcy. So I might not be getting that even afterwards.
Right. And to be honest, she shouldn't be getting it from the moment they filed, but that's a different story. She shouldn't, because they're supposed to be making plan payments, which they're behind on. So they're really like, I use this word and I hate it, but this phrase, incestuous finances, like it's all intertwined so much that it's hard to.
Entanglements.
Right. Entanglements. Exactly. That's a better word. But then you have these two cases where it's like, okay, go ahead, run your game and let's see, because now we have official documentation here to compare and and analyze. And that's gonna happen. Like there's a trustee, there's different kinds of trustees in each court, and then there's like a head trustee that oversees all of them. That's going to happen. The head trustee is gonna look at stuff when it's this closely related, in my opinion. And again, it's an uneducated, uninformed opinion, but I believe they will. So this is a tricky question. Like it says, are you a sole proprietor of any full or part-time business? And it's saying like it's a business that you operate as an individual. So like if you cut hair, on the side and people give you cash for it, that kind of stuff, right? Like not an LLC would not be listed here, but
part-time YouTuber.
Yeah, exactly.
A hobby
These-
income.
These definitions are probably more professional than I would list, but like this says, an appropriate box, healthcare business, single asset real estate, or like an investor, right? Stockbroker, commodity broker, or none of the above. So yeah, that's kind of like just like a side gig kind of job. is how I would define that. And are you filing Chapter 11? And that doesn't apply here, so I'm just going to skip right over it. There's so many environmental questions on these forms that kind of like, I get it, but it's funny to me a little bit. So this is just talking about like if you have any hazardous items on your property that pose an imminent threat. Like, do you have any mad cows on your ranch in Arizona there?
Well, I think this companies also can file for Chapter 7 as well. So if a company is going under, then they could have been doing manufacturing work that would be working with hazardous chemicals or things like that. So that would be a good reason to disclose.
Independent farmers, stuff like that.
Fertilizer runoff.
The ghost storage from Ghostbusters.
Right. Now you're talking. This is just saying that she went through the credit counseling, although I don't know, there was like a deficiency form filed and that part was worded weird to me. Anyway, and this is basically like basic disclosures. I'm not on active duty, I'm not incapacitated, like I don't have a probate, somebody doesn't have probate, conservator, or guardianship over me, etc. Or I don't, oh, well, wait, actually, back up a second. This box is not checked. My physical disability causes me to be unable to participate in a briefing in person, by phone, or through the internet, even after I reasonably tried to do so. Okay, the box is not checked, Laura, so remember that later.
That's a little different Borneo case.
Yeah, it's Arizona versus California.
I guarantee she just missed it, right? Like, I feel like that box would have been checked if she had seen it. I think this was done very quickly. And in a panic, but that's just me. Okay, so this part. Are your debts primarily consumer debts? Yes. So they're not business debts, basically.
Well, that's kind of odd considering like well over 50% of her debt is a judgment from a case that she didn't state in 16C there.
Yeah. I feel like that's exactly where that should have gone, right? that seems like on the borderline there. It's not necessarily like you didn't stop paying what was Ron's JP Morgan Chase and they came after you, right? It's not that kind of judgment. It's a different kind of judgment. Let's see. Are you filing under Chapter 7? Yes. Oh, basically they want to know any exempt property is excluded and expenses are paid, that funds will be available to distribute to unsecured creditors. Are you going to have any money left? Well, I mean, I don't think they're going to fight her for her $7 and whatever change it is. So no, she's not going to have anything left. How many creditors do you have? This is all standard stuff. How much do you estimate your assets to be worth? 0 to 50,000. And then of course we've got our liabilities that are not cohesive with that level of assets and income, that you would have that much debt and liabilities when you don't make any money.
Well, a $200,000 judgment kind of ruins that.
Yeah. And penalty of perjury, blah, blah, blah. It's not signed. I think she did e-sign. There's a form where she e-signed. I don't know the rules on that. I don't know if that allows you to go ahead and not e-sign these forms if you signed the other one. I don't know. I gotta go look at Ron and Jan's. I don't feel like it right now. And that's just if you had an attorney. So we're gonna skip that. It gives you a very explicit warning about the effects of filing bankruptcy, how they are permanent, basically, and how if you represent yourself in court, you're going to be held to the same standards, basically, the speech everybody gets when they represent themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because bankruptcy has long-term financial and legal consequences, you are strongly urged to hire a qualified attorney. And so that's really important because there's a case in Arizona and it went through the Court of Appeals, but basically a city employee quit her job. She filed bankruptcy. She quit her job over harassment. And She filed bankruptcy, got discharged through the Chapter 7, and then filed a lawsuit against her former employer after her bankruptcy was discharged. And the trustee appealed it, and it was overturned. So she couldn't carry her case. The bankruptcy trustee reopened the bankruptcy and handled the case through that. It's really complex, but the whole point is you could be giving up rights, future rights, that you're not even considering because you're doing this yourself. Something an attorney would tell you.
So the outside of those things and the mandatory 7 to 10 years of it being on your record, but then there are forms that you file, whether it be employment forms, mortgage forms, that say, have you ever filed for bankruptcy? Not just within the last 7 years, not just within the last 10 years, ever. And then if you disclose that you haven't, then fined, imprisoned, reopening, things like that.
Yeah. And bankruptcy fraud is a serious crime. And it's something you should consider. I guess I can size that again so you guys can see it better.
So it's not just a minor thing.
So are you right? Not just a minor thing. No, it's not. Good one. So are you aware that filing for bankruptcy is action with long-term financial and legal consequences? Yes. Yes, we're all aware of that. We're aware of that until we want to say we weren't aware of it because we think it might work in our favor to say so, right? Like that's the theme I see happening. Did you pay or agree to pay someone who is not an attorney help you fill out your bankruptcy forms? I could make a joke here about a certain attorney, but I mean, I think it would have looked the same if he did help. It's not great, period.
Well, technically, he's still in good standing, even if he's
right
facing possible disbarment.
Right.
But
I don't think he should touch it, but.
Well, if Gingras worked on this, there'd be more cat photos. So I don't think he was involved.
Right. And threats. There'd definitely be threats, right?
And I did the math. The judgment to Clayton represents 74% of her total liabilities.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, so there's another case where like they don't like that, first of all. Like they see that. That's not something that they're not privy to, right? Like they know that game very well. They know that I have a judgment against me now. I'm going to file bankruptcy to make it go away. They know that game very well. So anyway, we're going to go on to the declaration about the schedules. This is okay. So like when you file for bankruptcy, you file your initial application, then you file a bunch of schedules, which are addendums about your income, your property, your liabilities, your assets, and the one that she missed, Schedule C, I think was exempted property. So this is kind of just saying, yes, I filled out on my forms and I understand. And an attorney didn't help me. This is a summary of your assets and liabilities and certain statistical information, which is whatever. So this is saying, like, of all the items, all of her assets are worth $19,950.74. So now we're back to 74 cents. That's not 455,000 in a money market, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
just if you take a step back and you think about being 33 or 34, and this is like the sum total of what you have in life.
Yeah.
That's not to me, it's kind of a sad picture.
I think so, because again, I feel like there were resources, right, and privileges available to her to become financially independent and to have solid earned income and financial stability in her life, as we can assume Sarah has, right? So the fact that it's just not there and that the majority of this is 4-year-old car that you actually owe on.
Underwater
This,
car.
yeah, definitely not a boss babe, but okay. And then these are our liabilities. I thought she owed Clayton more, but I
So
haven't looked at math in a while.
I don't know whether or not that last figure of 196 that I think is listed is the final sum, because they did give the Supreme Court fees and costs as well.
Yeah, I thought it went over 200, but I did not. You know what? Hold on. Maybe my team looked at this one. I forgot to check that. That was page 10.
Yeah,
No.
there's three different, right? There's the main case, the first appeal, and then the second appeal, right?
Mm-hmm. But the judgment got updated every time,
Yeah.
right? I wonder if she just took the amount off the filing, like the
Judgment filing.
recorder's office filing, which is not your final number. It's not. That's just the amount that they filed at the time. That number changes. So I don't know. Who knows? I don't want to get in her head because who knows? It's impossible. And then we have these unsecured, non-priority unsecured claims. I'm sorry. So this 230 and her vehicle, her car loan, right? Because those are secured. Although I'm gonna skip. It's I don't know why she thinks Clayton's is secured, because I don't feel like it is, unless she's confused about the term because it's a judgment.
Yeah, because I even asked Grok about it, and it said if it would be secured if a lien was attached to a piece of property or something like that, but it's
Yeah.
not truly secured.
No, it's not. In my title brain, it's not a secured judgment. It's just not. So that's weird to me. But and so here we go down to our expenses. And we've got $3,303.02, which is different than $4,700 on the other form. 4703 or 4730, I can't remember. I think it was 4703. Might have
That
even
one.
been down to a penny.
Yeah.
But that math don't math. I don't know why it would be different here. Like, what is the difference? 4,700. I didn't do that math real quick.
I was wondering if the difference might be taking out the part that was coming from someone else, but that doesn't add up either.
No,
yeah,
because it's like 12 or 1,250 and change.
yeah, weird. Anyway, I don't know why this number is different. I don't get it. We will see what she put down as her expenses. So maybe she filled the forms out of order and didn't go back and fix them. I don't know why you would do that. Seems like they would make you fix that. But anyway, here we go. Yes, we're filing for Chapter 7. We're going to keep going. Consumer debts, we already talked about that. From the statement of your current monthly income, we've got nothing here. It technically should say 0, but we're not great with the paperwork. And then we have categories of claims from Part 4, which are like if you were required to pay child support, or if you had a tax repayment plan, or you had restitution from a criminal case, like if you caused injury during a DUI, student loans, etc.
Any of these things
Anyway,
that are not dischargeable.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So that's our list here. I don't think the fact that there's not a specific call out line for Clayton's judgment means that it's automatically dischargeable. I think the argument can be made for it not being dischargeable, and attorneys way smarter than me will probably make those arguments, right?
I think it's a matter of it's dischargeable, but the attorney has to argue that it should be exempted from discharge on the basis of being fraud or the like.
Sanctions. Yep. You said it better. That's exactly it. It's you assume everything is dischargeable until it's disputed, right?
Yeah.
Do you own or have any legal or equitable interest in any residence, land, building, or similar property? No.
Did.
I mean, do you if you're going with, sorry, I keep scrolling. If you're going with the fact that you are a partner in Liz Max and that you do have an ownership interest, regardless of the fact that there's forfeiture notice filed, the answer here would be yes, because as we saw with the Ron and Jan's bankruptcy, the finances were definitely commingled between personal and business for Liz Max, because there's a Liz Max credit card that's being included in their bankruptcy. So I think that lifts the corporate veil, and we have this potential to go after LLC assets, but it's not really an asset, so it's kind of a moot point. It's like a fourth interest, and it's going to be forfeited. So yes, we have a vehicle. Here it is. 2021 Hyundai Tucson. Is that how you say it? Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why that hung me up for a minute, but this is okay. We can't check the box here. Which person is it? We can't just check the box. It's so simple.
Oh, that's
Dead or
weird.
one. That's all you gotta do. Like, this is so lazy. But the current value of the entire property is $13,000, and the portion you own of that is $17,000. Girl, what?
And these are crude because it leaves off all the digits that were in the other one, right?
Yeah, and it's flip flopped. Like, is it worth 17,000 or not?
No, what she's conflating is that there's a $17,000 loan on the vehicle, but the value of the portion you own, because if it's like a 50-50 split, you would say, well, I own 50% of this vehicle.
Mhm.
But she's saying that the current value of the car is 13,000 and change, and then the bank's liability of mine is 17,000.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to jump inside her head there for a minute.
That's clearly what she means. But Tiff,
that's what she means, but it's not what it should be.
Are you saying it should just be the 13K, the correct 13K in the first box and 0 in the second box, or 100% or whatever in the second box?
Well, okay, hold on. Do not deduct secured claims or exemptions. Put in the amount of any secured claims in Schedule D. So I think so to me, this number would just be the same.
Yeah,
because
it would.
like, whatever it is, it would be the same.
100%.
Whatever the value of the car is, it's going to be the same in both of these lines, because otherwise you're implying that somebody else has negative $4,000 equitable interest in this vehicle.
But it would be her that has the negative $4,000 of equity, not the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it just little things that make my brain itch. So then we carry down our current value total here, 17,000. I don't know what the car's worth. I don't care really, but that number that series of numbers just irritated me. So we don't have, okay. You're allowed to own a bed. Like, there are things you're allowed to own that you should list, because if it comes down to it and they actually have to appraise your entire estate, it's better to call out things you do own than not tell anybody about them at all. I mean, you're allowed to own a bed, you're allowed to own a TV, we saw it.
Would she be assuming those are her parents' items of property?
Maybe.
I mean, if it was like a furnished apartment that you didn't own anything that was in the apartment, then that would be one thing. But by virtue of living in the casita, you would think that she would have some ownership of something.
Maybe the casita was furnished by her parents for her.
Well, I think we looked at the photos before, Bruce, on one stream. The house was bought furnished. We do know that now.
Interesting.
But I think even the casita was furnished. It still doesn't, like, somebody owns it though, right? Like those like cabinets on the side of her bed, the TV,
There's some
appliances.
chairs. Yeah.
I guess you could argue that, yeah, it's the parents, but then if we look at this is where I think they're really like screwing themselves though, because Ron and Jan's bankruptcy filing didn't have that much in appliances and other furnishing. I mean, like I said, I think in my bedroom I have more stuff worth, than what they claim to own in their entire house. So it's
Yeah.
just interesting to me. I don't know.
You're saying in the parents' bankruptcy filing, there was no indication that they were including household goods and furnishings of the casita in their filing,
Correct.
Let alone their own house.
and then it doesn't even
Right.
appear here either. Okay.
Yeah. I think their appliances, they said their total appliances were worth like 700. And then maybe that's the limit you're allowed to claim, but come on. She has an iPhone and a computer, but we'll see. Does she really own them? She doesn't have any collectibles. So imagine like you grew up with this really famous radio personality father who got to meet all celebrities and presidents and all these kinds of things, and you don't have one single piece of memorabilia from them. I call BS the same way I did for Ron and Jan. You can't tell me you don't have a book signed by Obama. You can't tell me that. I don't believe it.
A photo signed by Bob Saget, who's passed away and would be worth considerable money.
Exactly. So I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. It might be sitting in a storage unit in San Francisco, but it's there, in my opinion. Yeah.
Jamel makes a good point. She's like, she doesn't even have like a Coach purse or nothing.
Sorry, where'd it go?
No, that was it.
I guess that would go under clothes, and she does have something there. But
yeah, that's the right one. And she actually doesn't even own a nice handbag when she hoards herself out as rich. I love that this typo to horrors.
Thank you.
The whole family is horrors. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, who wants the black chair?
I know, right? Now, Tiff, we had talked about how it was kind of crazy to keep these storage lockers or whatever it is for so long.
Yeah.
But do you think like that's sort of part of the thing here? Like they're sort of hiding it there almost, or I don't.
So I think that, first of all, I have some theories. And I'll call them theories because I don't have anything proving it. But I think that when they sold the San Francisco house, it was staged. So I think all the photos when it was listed were staged. I don't think any of that was their stuff in that house. I think that they had put their stuff in storage. The stuff that I saw in that house and other pictures and stuff, just general, like, whatever, old Facebook photos, didn't look like that. So yeah, I think a lot of stuff just got shoved in storage and forgotten about. And because we don't have a care in the world, we pay $700 a month to store this stuff that we probably haven't looked at in 5 years. So yeah, I don't know.
You absolutely do forget about things in storage, because like when we moved into our house, we put all of the boxes in the basement and they're all open and like spread around so that you can grab stuff when you're getting everything out of those boxes. But then years later, you're like, oh, I forgot I had this. Oh, I forgot I had this. And if it's in another state from a move 3, 4, 5 years ago, yeah, there ain't no way I'm remembering it unless it was like my prized item that I made sure it stayed there so that nobody else could touch it.
Yeah. And I think that, okay, so to that point, that's fair. I think if I'm filling out this form and I see a question about memorabilia and I have a Bob Saget signed photo, I'm gonna remember that and go, yeah, that's probably counts, right? Or I have a athletic card signed, whatever, an athlete signed something. I think you'll remember some things. I just can't, I don't believe you can go through like 40 years of a career and not have anything. But I mean, you don't have any money to show for it, so maybe you don't have some things. But we get to because again, I'm trying not to get my brain hung up on things. The equipment for sports and hobbies. So this is definitely, horse riding falls into this category. And to her credit, she answered it. I don't think this is a reasonable, logical, realistic number at all for what, first of all, okay, we don't need to say well used. Okay. That's literally like the most superfluous phrase. You don't need to include it. Okay. It doesn't matter that you call it well used. You're not selling it. This is just a form that you're filling out for the government, okay? It doesn't need to have a story behind it, but it's well-used horse riding tech, and it's $300. And nobody believes that in the horse, I don't want to call it a horse community, in the equestrian community. We have some very good people in this case that follow it that say that's very much undervalued.
Because when I see that, that sounds to me like it could be like a show outfit. And that would be, the one thing that you could fit in a relatively small box and be like, it would be a hat. It could be a nice vest and blouse, pants, boots, whatever. And then that's it. We're not talking saddles or stirrups or anything else that would go with it.
And that's why, because we saw that case in the Instagram post, right? The chest that had her initials on it, and it was all her stuff in it. It was a huge chest. When she was at that thing in October. So that definitely had more than an outfit in it. But sure, you got some well-used horse riding tech. No firearms, thank God.
Brad, do you need a fancy vest? Do we need to get you some tack, Brad?
I could probably use some tack, so make sure to send Tiff a super chat, and then she'll pass it along to me.
Holidays are coming.
Oh, I'm not there yet. I am there. I'm qualified, but I haven't officially signed up for that.
Where's my money, Tiff? Come on.
Right? Yeah. And TX Packet says, Brad, just the riding boots tend to be in the 400-ish range. I believe that. But this is like not a realistic number or description of horse crap she owns.
One of the communities nearby me is known as like the horse capital of Michigan, because there's just so many that are here, of ranches and other things that I pass by signs for horse equipment and things like that. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, even just the signs, the Quartet Farms signs.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Clothes. This is hilarious to me. My husband and I got a very good laugh out of this, because shoes and clothing, much of it used. No shit, Sherlock. Everybody's clothes that they have are used. What are you talking about?
So if you follow the logic on this, she has portions of her wardrobe that still have tags on it.
True.
Yes.
None of that's listed here. None of that stuff on Poshmark's listed here, right? Much of it used. That's the point. Okay. And again, $750. Come on. I wear these t-shirts and flannels and probably like 3 pairs of jeans total. It's not worth more than $750. Come on. It's me.
I don't know.
Unless it's toddler clothes, I've seen the prices at Goodwill. It's not, you don't get much.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I wouldn't think you'd get much for some clothes.
Yeah. But I mean, the value. I don't know, whatever. Again, I think she could have used whatever the limit is on the exceptions here, and she would have been fine. I don't think it's 750. It could be, maybe I'm wrong. Jewelry, basic, comma, everyday jewelry, none heirlooms or anything of value. Okay, $250, sure.
$250 a clear. Okay.
Yeah, like whatever. Non-farm animals, 2 rescue dogs, one okay, what she's saying is one is a 15-year-old toy poodle mix and the other a 5-year-old mutt. Nobody cares. Like, I'm sorry, that's
Yep.
not, I'm not being mean about dogs. I love dogs with my whole heart, but you don't even have to say rescue in here. Just 2 dogs, 2 dogs, 2 dogs. That's it. We don't need to elaborate.
Yeah, I think she's trying to justify why she's putting it in as $1.
Well,
Probably.
Like they're not some sort of collectible dog or something.
so
No.
here's the even funnier thing. He valued them even less than the government would typically value them.
Oh,
Because so say you and your neighbor or have a tissy, your dog goes over and tries to bite the neighbor and your neighbor shoots him. And then
Yep.
you sue your neighbor and they say, well, the loss of the value of my dog is important to me, so I'm going to sue you over that value. And the government will look at you and go, okay, here's $50. And that's the true market value of what a dog is, even though you can't replace those memories and whatnot. Everyone, I think, understands that, but even the government will say you get a market value of like $50 to $100 for your dog.
It's property, and you should claim it for what it would otherwise be worth. And then
50 cents per dog. That's cold.
Right?
I know, right? I feel bad for them. Yeah. Prescription glasses, $10. Okay. I maybe need to go to Arizona next time I want my prescription filled. And the dollar value of all your entries is $1,911. Okay. That's interesting. So here we're back to cash being $774.
Not $777.
Correct. No deposit money here.
She claimed a checking account though in the waiver.
She did.
Oh, that's right. It's missing now.
It's missing now. And then we have these two same, although the dollar amount's different again. This is an even number, 618. The E-Trade account, the dollar amount's different. They're going to want statements to compare this stuff with. So,
Tiff, why do you think these are so different? Do you think it was like she started filling it out and then finished it way later, or like her mom started it and she finished it, or like what?
That could be. Like she just didn't realize, like she did it. She maybe threw in these numbers as estimates and didn't go back and fix them.
She says it's 618 in the waiver request.
But 414 was different, right?
It was 414.41 in that.
Again, get hung up on some things. And we're not going to list any entities that we have an interest in here, but that's in a different part. Maybe it's not supposed to go here. I don't know. I feel like it is. I feel like this is where it should have gone, but oh, there's a schedule. That's why there's a schedule with this stuff on here. So the no shouldn't have been answered. But anyway, don't have any bonds, don't have any retirement. Wow.
That's the even scarier part.
Right.
At 35 and no retirement or anything to.
And does she have enough work credits to even file for Social Security when she's reaches that age?
If she hasn't had a proper job, then she wouldn't have contributed anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's scary, for real scary. Like that gives me anxiety. No security deposits, CDs, anything, annuities, IRA, ABLE program, trusts, patents, copyrights, trade secrets. Oh, I thought Keybacker would be a trade secret or something.
So interesting thing, if you go back up to 25, You would think coming out of San Francisco, everyone knows the trust fund babies and whatnot. You would think there would be something there from a father who had a wealth manager, you would expect, or some kind of financial assistance, being the large name that he was. And be like, hey, it'd be a good idea to set up a trust for your daughters and then, contribute to it and ensure that they would be beneficiaries, long term. But the fact that she doesn't have that, or she's saying that she doesn't have it, then
that's kind of my origin story of getting into this case, because everybody kept calling her a trust fund baby way back in the day when we first started following all this stuff. And I kept thinking, no, come on. Like, her dad's not Howard Stern, for crying out loud. This can't be. Like, come on. You can't be like that. They can't have money. And I started looking at everything. I'm like, no, they have no property in a trust. What? There's no trust? That tells me that's like the biggest red flag, that you don't have anything worth holding on to or protecting when you don't have that trust.
Yeah.
And I mean, I worked with very wealthy clients in my area, and it was, I mean, they were more trust than not trust, right? Like, it's just a thing.
So, Tiff, if she was the beneficiary of the Ron Owens trust, would she have to list it here in item 25?
I believe yes, because even though it might not be activated yet, it could be, right? So here's what I say. I believe yes. Also, it says trust equitable or future interests in property, and rights or powers exercisable by your benefit. So that can be read a couple of ways, but I feel like yes, the answer is yes, that if she was a beneficiary of a trust, even if she's not actively receiving money from it, because then you can explain here.
That would be a future interest potentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, patents, trademarks, copyrights, licenses, franchises. I guess podcast wouldn't count. No tax refunds, because we didn't file taxes, because we don't make any money. So, family support. So, like, this would be if somebody owed her child support and they hadn't paid it, that she had this like settlement coming through. That's where you would list this. And it hadn't been dispersed yet, right?
Potential windfalls.
So, like, in my opinion, and there might be another line for it, but this was where, if Clayton were filing bankruptcy, he would list his judgment that he has, that he could eventually receive money from. Settlement, right?
Eckerd twins coming February 14th.
Right. Or this even, other amounts someone was used. So this is kind of like a catch-all, right? Where you would, other things that you might still be owed money from. I do think it's interesting that Jan said in their 341 meeting, in their meeting of creditors, that the podcast makes $17 a month, and we don't see that listed here anywhere. I would assume Laura gets some of that money. Maybe that's where the $7.74 came from.
Did she list Nobody Told Me in here?
I don't know if she listed it in here, but she doesn't list receiving any income from it.
I haven't seen any references to it.
I can't remember if she lists it in here. I know it's
I didn't think so either.
Keybacker, Liz Max, and Stylette. No, she didn't list Nobody Told Me. Although I don't know that she's a managing member of Nobody Told Me, but if she did receive income from it, it should be disclosed here.
Right.
Should be disclosed. Or if they're holding it back, still should be disclosed here, right? Because you haven't been, just because you haven't, like, people think that. They think, well, if I don't take the money now, if I have this GoFundMe money and I don't pull it out yet, then is it really there? Well, yeah, it's there. You're supposed to tell people about it.
Did she create an LLC for Somebody Told You?
Yeah, that'd be great.
No, I'm seriously asking, because she had teased that she was going to create another podcast called Somebody Told You to go over victims' survivor stories, and made a website and everything for it.
Yeah. There either is or was a Spotify template for it. There were no episodes, but yeah, or something like that.
Our team has looked at that. And that needs to be a little cha-ching. Let's look at that.
Pin.
It's a good
I
catch,
don't
Brad.
know. I know we've looked at a lot of things, but I don't think we've looked at that. Or if we did, we didn't find anything. Let's put it that way. Because I know we check. There's 2 ways you can check for those things. I guess it would depend on which state. Some states are easier. Like in Arizona, you can check by name, the registered agent. So, Jen says, we'll look into that now. Oh, thank you. I knew if I sent up the bat signal, she would respond. Okay,
That's
so yeah, any interests? Oh, interest in insurance policies, examples. Health, disability, or life insurance, health savings, HSA, homeowners, or renters insurance. Well, first of all, I mean, I don't know. I feel like,
If they have life insurance on her parents, she would almost absolutely be listed as a tertiary beneficiary.
yep, you'd have to. It'd be irresponsible not to do it that way, right?
Right.
Like, so yeah, it should be listed there. Also, I mean, if I were living in my parents' casita, I would pay for renter's insurance too, just because you can't be guaranteed that homeowner's insurance would cover anything if something happened. Whenever I
So,
rented years ago, I always paid for renter's insurance.
so while yes, that is absolutely true, the the fact that it's a non-rented accessory
Yeah,
dwelling unit on the
they might
property,
not.
I don't think that matters. I
They
had
might not
rent.
let you.
They converted when I sold my house and drove away in a van. They converted
Hmm.
my homeowner's policy to a renter's policy and said, when you buy a new house, let us know, and we'll convert it again.
That's amazing to keep. That's amazing.
yeah.
That's good. So to keep your multi-line discount, probably. That's awesome.
Yes, correct.
I like that.
Yeah, shout out to Jessica at State Farm.
State Farm, man. We've had State Farm for 30 plus years, for as long as Laura Owens has been alive, and has never done us wrong. But yeah, that's interesting. But I don't know. I think you make a good point, Brad, because states are different. They might not let her insure it that way. Although renter's insurance is pretty cheap. I can't imagine.
I mean, but so here's the catch-22 on that. So you don't have renter's insurance, but you're also not claiming that anything within the casita is owned by you and furnished completely by
yeah,
the. So
that's true. So what would you? Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
other than clothes, but I
Um,
mean, if you're only claiming
okay,
$750 in clothes, then
$750, mostly used. Okay. Anyway, the any interest in property that is due to you from someone who has died. So that would be like, if you're the beneficiary of a living trust, if you expect proceeds from a life insurance policy, that means that the person has already passed. So that's where you would list this.
it's
And
going
you
through
just have notice to
probate
do
or stuck in some form of
what? Say that again.
process. Whether it's stuck in probate or some form of process that you're expecting it to come out of.
Yeah. And so people might ask, so I'm not going to assume that it's known information, but she would not list her her mom's probate dispute with her brother here at
Right.
all, because she's not assumed to be a beneficiary to that at all. It's all just Jan at this point until something happens to Jan. So I mean, that's too far removed to say, well, if something happens to my mom has this claim. That's too far removed. I can understand, like, you shouldn't put that down. It
Yeah.
wouldn't apply. But if you're a beneficiary of a life insurance policy, yeah, you should put that. And any other claims against third parties. This is the part I was telling you guys about. Claims against third parties, whether or not you have filed a lawsuit or made a demand for payment.
Yeah.
Examples: accidents, employment disputes, insurance claims, or rights to sue. Rights to sue. You're giving up some rights here if you don't disclose them. And you should be aware of that. And then any
I like that one.
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Contingent and unliquidated claims of every nature, including counterclaims of the debtor and rights to offset claims. I'm guessing that would be like if you thought, I don't know, if you, like, let's say you owed on your vehicle. You owed some money, but you thought they sold you a lemon, so you feel like you have a chart, you have an offset to that debt on it.
Right.
Maybe that would be where you'd put this. That's what maybe you would put right here is what I'm saying.
What about potential future book deals or speaking engagements? Because
Oh, good point. Yeah. Yeah.
Which one would
Any
that go
finance
in? Sorry.
in this unliquidated or contingent claims, right?
yeah,
So like not quite
so like
distributed yet.
selling her story for podcasts or books or streaming deals or anything like that.
Yeah. And once
That could be a contingent claim.
if she's convicted, she won't be able to do that anyway. For a while at least, right? I don't know if once you get off probation, if you can make money off your crime. I don't know. I'm assuming post-release. Nobody freak out. I'm assuming post-release probation. So the last one or second to last, last question. Any financial assets you did not already list? So like this is your last chance to tell us anything that you might want to tell us. Like, is the moon bump in the casita?
You can't expect her to tell them that the box of gold is buried in the backyard somewhere. I mean,
Right. And our total dollar value is $1,039.74. And that's really just the very
The
small amount.
close, the
The two
account.
accounts, the E-Trade and the cash, but not the Bank of America account.
Well,
We
no,
didn't list that.
because that would be $1,000 in accounts, 750 in close. So that's already wrong.
well, no, there's two subtotals. They're both.
The close was already added up. This is just
Yeah.
the
There were two subtotals somewhere.
Yeah. So this is just these three things.
Yep. Okay.
And then the other was up here. It was 1911.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. And describe any business related property you own or have an interest in. Do you own or have legal or equitable interest in any business related property? Nope. Just nope. Okay. Okay. Go to part 6. I mean,
That's wild.
it's wild. Then okay, then what did Liz Max spend $27,000 on that credit card? And what is Quartet Farms had a credit card too? What is that? Where's that $10,000 credit card?
Well,
do you
Quartet
mean?
Farms literally has an equity interest in the property that they're sitting on.
Right. Exactly. So,
And in the criminal case, didn't she ask for the ability to travel out of state for business purposes?
yes.
Wouldn't that have to relate to some business somewhere in this document?
And it literally said like that she was employed at the family business.
Right.
All over this document, we are not employed.
Well, maybe she's a humanitarian and she's just working for free for her parents' businesses.
Well, that's the thing though, that puts her parents in a bad position, right? Because then they're receiving a benefit and they're giving her a priority by not paying her. So she's giving them something of value.
Yeah.
And that
you're getting labor and
right. Yeah, they're getting something of value and not using any money, that valuable thing to pay their creditors. Anyway, I feel like every question here or wrong answer here is a flashlight on the other case and vice versa.
Inconsistent entanglements.
Consistent entanglements. Yeah. Oh, this one's boring. Okay, so I think somebody mentioned this though, and I'll quickly address it. Do you own or have any legal or equitable interest in any farm or commercial fishing related property? Quartet Farms is an LLC, in my opinion, a pass-through LLC that assets are passed through, right? Horses are bought and sold.
This is federal, right?
Yeah.
Federal bankruptcy of a
I
farm.
don't think it's classified as an actual farm.
Yeah. What is a farm?
Lauren and I were arguing about this because she had the same question.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And I consider quartet farms, like the farm part of it, to be sort of like marketing lingo.
That's right.
Not like literal farming. On the other
Right.
hand, you're correct that assets are going up and down based on these horses. And then
Yes.
do you call those livestock, right? Because yours is row 47. But
Yeah.
apparently we've moved the horses to the parents. Is that the trick here?
Yeah.
Well, the retired horses are listed in the parents' bankruptcy, but the active Quartet Farms horses were transferred from Laura to Quartet Farms last year.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a red flag already. But
yeah. Like I think she did that to get out of Clayton's judgment against her, but she will have hurt herself here because it looks like okay. I am trying to escape this judgment by transferring everything out of my name, and that didn't work. So now I'm going to file bankruptcy. The bankruptcy trustee and the court will absolutely catch on to this, in my opinion. I don't think they studded horses. The question is, didn't they use stud horses for insemination or something? I don't think so. I don't know.
That's kind of a rude way to talk about Clayton, I think. I
don't. Yeah. Oh, that's another good point. Most of the horses are in Florida, and I think that maybe one or two is stable in California. But yeah, the majority of the horses are in Florida.
Sirocco, I think, was in Arizona though, because I don't think they mentioned that.
He was, at least in October. He was.
Yeah, he was at least in Arizona, whether he went back to California or not. But then that also calls into question, where's all the money to operate this stuff coming from?
Right. And that's where I think this intertwining of all of their money between the three of them and the business is really going to bite them, because the trustee in Ron and Jan's case is already asking for receipts on all these businesses. He wants to see statements and documents of how much goes in and out of those, how much they're worth. Thank you, Jen. Jen says, no, they did not. I didn't think so. But yeah. Hey, Bruce. Bruce says that's not half and half in her fridge. I love how Bruce comments some things.
Well, you know, chat's having fun.
I know, and I'm ignoring you guys. I'm sorry, because I keep looking at this document and it gets me more mad. So we don't have crops. I do believe that there is farm equipment. I don't know. I guess it just depends on whether or not you classify Quartet Farms as a farm. But when you have livestock, which horses are livestock, I believe, I think they're the definition of it. Right.
So I'm looking that up right now, and it says that 11 USC 101, a farmer is a person that received more than 80% of their gross income from a farming operation owned and operated by a person. A farming operation, farming and tilling of the soil, dairy farming, ranching, production or raising of crops, poultry, livestock, and or production of poultry, livestock products in an unmanufactured state. But show horsing and raising and showing horses or buying, training, and reselling, flipping horses is generally not considered a farming operation.
See?
That's what I thought by just intuition.
Yeah, I didn't have a reason to think it, but that's what I thought as well. Like, other than my...
But, it's good that Brett checked.
It says it's treating it as a horse business or sport and not production of livestock.
Okay.
Okay,
That makes sense.
sport-oriented business.
So think of it this way. So if you're raising cows for dairy, you don't really care about the cows. Or beef cattle outside of very specific reasons, like I'm raising Angus beef, but I don't have a whole lot of pressure into ensuring this one cow continues on. I'm raising a whole bunch of cows and then I'm sending them off to the butcher. And with horse raising, it's a completely different thing. You really care about the individual horses and you want them to stay around, be healthy until you sell them. And then it's a whole different thing. So yeah,
So you could have the same animal, but a different operation.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So real quick here, I want to go back 1 second. Salvadorine says it's okay to file bankruptcy after getting a judgment. It's not okay that she tried to hide assets to avoid paying the judgment and then failed to disclose it properly on the bankruptcy. I agree. I think that it's the succession of how things went that is going to bite her in that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to judge her for filing for bankruptcy, but you have to do it properly, right? I think that's what
Yes.
we're really looking at here is, are things being done properly?
And are we being honest about how we're paying for our own survival?
So here would be a better example of the difference between a livestock and not. Are you raising a bunch of horses to then send them to the glue factory and only for that purpose? Because they can be considered livestock in that purpose.
Heartless, Brad. Heartless.
Well,
it's real life.
Yeah.
That's a good example. That made it click in my head. So I like that. I like that example as much as it makes me sad.
Yeah, it's not a fun example, but it gets the point across because
it does. Absolutely. Okay, so all the property you own or have an interest in that you did not list above. This is funny to me, like the way they want to know everything. Season tickets, country club membership. I don't think Barry's is included there because I don't think it's a valuable thing, but it's more of a subscription, whatever, like a streaming membership.
It's an expense.
Then we get down.
It would be a debt if it's a contract that she had to sign for and she's required to pay. Then
that's true.
It would be a liability.
Right?
Yeah. Have you ever tried to quit a gym membership?
It's not
easy.
I shattered my leg in March of last year. This year feels like last year already. This year, and we've been paying $90 a month for the athletic club since. Because I mean, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I haven't stepped foot in there since March. Yeah, that so like I said, I think of that similar to like your phone contract, right? Something like that. That's a good point. And then we've got our total vehicles, 17,000. I don't think that's what she means, but anyway, personal household items, actual money, and our total is 19,950.74.
That should be the 13,000 value number, not the 17,000 liability number.
This is even more bleak than it appears.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we've got we're getting to our creditors real quick, and I'm not going to go like in depth over these, but I do want to touch on two of them at least. And one is Clayton, the judgment, right? Because here's the deal. I say this and I really mean it. I know everybody kind of like wants my opinion on a lot of things, and I appreciate that, and I don't mind giving it, but I don't know how this judgment is impacted by this. I mean, I don't think, honestly, I mean, an expert might know how it probably will go, but I think this is one of those things where, like Brad said, it's dischargeable until somebody objects, and then once somebody objects, that legal argument plays out, right? And I mean, they can have a court hearing about it, even like it's not even necessarily just the trustee that's in charge of how this shakes out. It could go to a court hearing about it where they make arguments and pleadings. If I had a $200,000 judgment against somebody, it's definitely what I would do is argue against getting it discharged so easily. So but I mean,
so my non-lawyer completely 100% by standard view of this. So the judgment gets submitted, and then Clayton, through his lawyer, Greg Woodnick, would say, we have this judgment and we're in the panel of debtors and we're discussing all the things. We say, well, we believe that this should be exempted from discharge. And they would go, what is your reasoning for that? And they would say, well, here's the judge's final order that says that the judge believes that this was procured through fraud. And then Laura would object this isn't a court hearing, but it would be through, practice. And it would say, well, I object to that because that is not a conviction of fraud. That is merely a judge stating that she believes it is fraud. And there's currently a criminal case going, and fraud, schemes and artifices is one of the things, but that's not outright fraud. So she's not currently charged with fraud. She's charged with other things. Perjury is a part of the things, and the idea that she is has proclivities to lie about certain things look poorly on her, but it is not by definition fraud. And through that, she could make that argument that criminal trial is ongoing. So I have not been adjudicated a fraud. But then they're going to look like, well, no, because the entire action of the paternity suit would be considered fraud by through Mata's words, fraudulent acquisition with the intent to extort and things like that. So it's going to be a really Greg Woodnick has a job on his hands, and he charges in his legal filings like $650, $700 an hour. And that's the reason you get paid that, or you make those charges, is because you have to be able to craft those arguments to be able to say that I believe this for these reasons and have the evidence to be able to back it up.
Now, Brad, if she was found guilty or had a plea deal that involved pleading guilty to the two charges that are, what is it called? Fraudulent schemes and artifices.
Right.
Would that be sufficient for what you're talking about?
So that's where it becomes interesting. So she could say, because I haven't been convicted on these charges, then they could say I'm still innocent until proven guilty. And because she hasn't pled or been convicted, then she should still be considered innocent. And then the bankruptcy court could say, well, then we're going to this on hold until your conviction is done, because you have 270 days, the end of August, until that fully gets wrapped up, or should be. They say, well, we're just going to put it on hold and we're going to wait for that to come through, because it could be a linchpin of all of these claims, or we could try and adjudicate everything but this claim until then. But you're not going to be able to get redistribution of assets or anything, especially if this is, or even if they say, well, we're going to discharge everything but this claim.
Yeah. So you're saying Woodnick has to argue that basically because there's already a judgment for fees that's been made by a judge, and at the appeals level and at the Supreme Court of Arizona level, that's good enough. That's his job. He has to say, we don't need to wait for a conviction or a plea deal. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that Laura would most likely try and say that I am given the benefit of doubt of innocent until proven guilty.
I mean, in response to that, Woodnick's job would be to say, here's the reasons why I don't think that argument holds.
Right, exactly.
This is great. Okay. I got to walk my dog for a minute. I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't.
I listen to a lot of things, and I, as Tyrion Lannister says, I drink and I know things. Well, absorbing knowledge is kind of a part of that.
Yeah, that's all I do. Like, this is me just being a nerd and paying attention, and sharing my thoughts about that stuff. I think that, like I said, I think this is such a carved out situation from normal standard procedures,
Run of the mill
that
bankruptcy.
we may see something different, happen here. Or I shouldn't say that. We may see some challenges here that aren't black and white, right?
Yeah.
I would not blame Clayton or Greg if they decided this is just not worth more money to fight, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know but I don't I just don't know. I wouldn't blame them if that's what they decided at this point, because you have to pull the plug at some point. And I think that's part of this game that she plays, where it's just continually keeping people relitigating.
It's a lot easier when you're not having to pay the bills. So
Right. What do you got to lose? Exactly. I just think I realized why she called this a secured claim. So she checked the box here, judgment lien from a lawsuit, which is, there is technically a judgment lien. So yeah, but that's, again, still not the amount. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the car. So this is funny to me. So she lists it here as SBNA. Somewhere else it's listed properly as Santander. They pronounce it funny. Santander, I think, is how they actually say it. But it's a subprime, non-prime auto loan company.
Hmm.
So I mean, we're not getting financed by Subaru or Chase or whatever, we're getting financed on a used vehicle by a subprime lender. And this happened, it says the date the debt was incurred, 12/19/2024, which is extra hilarious because we're stating that we haven't worked in 3 years. We don't have any money or income, and we have all these, which we'll go into detail on another night, all of these interesting, uncommon creditors. I will call this list of creditors uncommon, right?
yeah,
And
so if I had to guess, in 2021, it doesn't say when she acquired it, but do we think that it's a vehicle that she acquired new?
no, it says date. Well, okay, let's put it this way. The debt was incurred 12/19/24. It could have been a refinance, but it says it down here. Somebody caught that the other day. I don't know who it was. Credit to that person. It's like hard to see here.
So that's weird because we know that she's been claiming that she's been without income for a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
But she was claiming up until March 1st of 24 that she was making $200,000 or $100,000. So she could have said that on the paperwork to get the loan, but then because I'm trying to remember when I got my car, I didn't have to provide like bank stubs or pay stubs or anything to prove my income. They just say, well, they look at your credit, you claim you have an income of this, and then they make the decision of whether or not to approve you or not based on that.
I think that same here. I have seen family members and stuff go through the process without decent credit or income. And I think it's a little more rigid when they, at least for what they want you to supply. So my feeling is that this non-prime company would have maybe asked for at least a pay stub.
But this isn't Eastern Motors where your job is your credit kind of place.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's interesting to me. I don't know. I just think it's just interesting to me. I can't imagine what her score is. Because I think a lot of this debt that we see in here even isn't reporting debt. It's not like the credit reporting agency reporting debts.
This is another. Oh, go ahead.
I would say there's a couple of there. There's 2 Credit One accounts. And I've been watching enough. I've been watching enough Caleb Hammer to know that Credit One is like the bottom of barrel
Yeah.
credit card issuing companies.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've I've seen like, you know how you get stuff in the mail even
Yeah.
like what is that? It's a weird name.
Afterpay? What? Or
Oh, yeah, I mean Afterpay. That's
that,
like
those are now starting to get into credit reports because there's so many people who are getting them, and a lot of people are going delinquent in them.
it's usually how credit companies learn to do stuff the right way or they get screwed.
Weird. The thing I noticed with the car and some of these other ones, she's not
Mhm.
clicking the who incurred the debt set of choice
Thank
boxes
you. I
because
meant to. None of them. None
somebody
of
in
them.
chat for the car said maybe somebody co-signed the car loan with her, but she hasn't checked these boxes. So
She not only didn't check the boxes, there is a section where she was specifically asked if she had any co-debtors on any of her debt, and the answer was no. So I do not believe she had a co-signer.
okay.
Or you
She
would claim
probs
it.
she probs Adobe proof of funds for car financing. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Well, there's literally a box right there that says if this claim is for a community debt, that would be that someone else would have the vested interest. That's not because remember when you're filing this bankruptcy, it could be you and a spouse. But if your father was the co-signer of the loan, then they would be a part of the community debt because they would have that vested interest in there as well. But they're not a part of the family unit in filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah, same way we saw with Ron and Jan and Sarah and Christian, right? We saw Sarah and Christian listed as community debtors, so to speak. It was those two mortgages are community debt, and they were listed, you know, at least one of the debtors and another, and then it said community debt. So same analogy there. And we've got some law services. I want to get down real quick here. I'm going to skip over some of this stuff and go to because it's
Credit
really kind
One,
of
Credit One.
yeah, Credit One. There's two of them. I don't unless it's like I don't know, like we have a Lowe's card and it's Synchrony Bank, and
Right, but
then our Lazy Boy is also Synchrony Bank.
January.
We take our credit cards for the discounts and we pay them off, but
Right.
January technology. I don't remember. Somebody said something about this. I haven't dug into these yet, so I don't want to. We will, but I I don't want to. I don't want to go into it now because I don't know enough. I will highlight that Close Road Law is owed $14,000, which is so just hilarious for obvious reasons. Oh, it's weird. Close Road Law is not listed as a community debt.
Why
I
would
thought
it be?
somebody else paid for part of his fees.
Yeah, when Colesrud filed saying that Laura was indigent, he talked about how her family had paid for his representation in some way.
But
Yeah.
if a family is putting up the money for her contingency agreement, he would still be liable for anything in excess of what would be paid through that.
That's my
fair.
understanding. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. So I guess that wouldn't be fair. That's fair. Midland Credit Management is a collection company. We see them a lot in the court hearings I watch on YouTube. Midland Credit Management is usually the creditor in a lot of charge-off accounts.
No waste grindings. I found that that's a like a stump grinding business, and then you can buy the shavings. So they probably bought the shavings as bedding for the horses. So she probably had a rotating account that she would purchase from, and then went delinquent at some point.
Yeah. Now, Friday nights. Yeah. Friday nights, no waste grindings is how you get fake twins.
So then that's kind of like, is that a business expense? Because you didn't list any horses personally being owned. So it seems like that would be a business expense.
You would think, yeah.
Interesting. As well as $4,000 in veterinary costs that we saw somewhere in ranch services. And I said I wouldn't, get hung up on this, but yeah. This is all interesting. I want to get down to, hold on here. There was a page about the car.
Yeah. If the horses on their property are sort of retired from the business, and then it's just would it just be like hobby expense? Is that the argument?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think she listed it.
But who's paying for the horses then? Because
Right.
you didn't claim them as pets, you didn't claim them as livestock, but somebody has to pay the expenses. And I don't think Ron and Jan mentioned anything about horse expenses in any of their bankruptcy.
Horse insurance. That was the only thing they did list. They list horse
Yeah.
insurance.
So now we're back to Laura providing them sort of a free or paid benefit that they didn't list on their files. And we're back to inconsistent entanglements.
You could put the two, like on a wall, you could put the two filings, against like next to each other and draw the string map, right? This to this to this to this to this. Like it all intertwines and crosses. So
That
her
lady said
total
that parents did claim them as pets. That money of the retired horses.
They did claim them as pets, and they claimed that it costs like $100 a month to take care of them. 7 horses.
Well, if you've got a daughter who's living rent free on your property, it's like you go muck a stall. You're going to be good for something.
Food alone can't cost less than $100 for them, but yeah. And so anyway, her unsecured debt is $50,153.97. And then, so we're going to go into our unexpired leases and contracts, which is our phone bill with 0 information. But here we are. Oh, this is where I saw Santander. Yeah, that's the company that's
with no address or anything, because
yeah, like anyway, those 2 things. And then we've got no co-debtors. Okay, so nobody co-signed for anything that we are claiming here. And please bear with me. We get to income, not employed. I mean, this is like unemployed, nothing, no income. All these lines are just 0, 0, 0, 0, nothing. Straight up zeroed out.
Go up.
They call it when you Z out a till.
Yeah.
I think
there was a line for family support there as income.
Yeah. So it's and then we get to expenses. So it's not a joint case, obviously. And hold on. Sorry. Go back a second. Is this a joint case? No. Go to line 2. Do you have dependents? No. 3, do your expenses include expenses of people other than yourself and your dependents? No.
So she doesn't pay anything for her parents, which obviously.
Except for the horse shavings.
Right.
But
veterinary care.
This also gets interesting when we get in further down into the monthly expenses.
So we don't have any rent. We get a lot of zeros out until we get to our telephone and internet, which I'm sure it's not internet. I'm sure it's just your cell phone, right? This has got to be just cell phone.
There's no way.
I know.
One cell phone, like my wife, I split myself off from my wife because I wanted to go to a budget carrier, and hers with a financed phone is $75.
Yeah.
Even if you were to buy like the brand new phone now, that would be like $120, maybe $140, not $445.
So the only way this makes sense to me is if she has cable TV and has like all the channels and a phone bill, like your $7,500 phone bill.
It seems weird that you would have that separate from
the main property.
main house. Like,
yeah.
again, we're going crisscross, right?
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's not even, we have 4 lines on our account. And 3 of them, I think, have installment agreements on the phones. We don't even come close to that.
I
It's not
pass a
even
sign
halfway.
that's for AT&T, and they say 5 lines for $100.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Well, she has to have 14 phones to send different messages to Greg and Clayton and Brad.
Right.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, and I mean, if she has a tablet where she pays for the service on that or something, or that she didn't say it though.
But
so
she
I don't
didn't
know.
claim it. So it's
She didn't
like
claim it. Make it make sense. Yeah, but then like this is to me the most ridiculous number we see in the whole form. And this is $1,800 for food and housekeeping supplies.
I want to know how she came up to that number, because there is no goddamn way that she pays $1,800 for herself and herself alone, as she stated above in line 1 or whatever.
Right. So let's do this. Let's do times 12 equals divided by 52. That's $415 a week.
That's $60 a day.
Impossible.
It's not impossible.
Well, right.
So it's highly unlikely, unless you're Ubering daily $30+ plus tip, in addition to another meal that you might be going out and getting. Even Chipotle, I remember going to Chipotle and getting a burrito for like $9 back in 2013. Now you go to Chipotle and it's like $20 a burrito. That's 1/3 of her daily cost. So, and we know she's not eating Chipotle burritos because she's 82 pounds soaking wet. And there's no way that she could be consuming enough food that she's spending $1,800 a month. She's including the cost of groceries for her household with her parents in this number, and said, no, we're not including any other people that we're spending for.
Did the parents submit a food cost number?
Yeah, and it was less than this. I'm positive it was less than this. My good buddy, would you please look at that for me? She's been sending me messages. So Jan claims $500 per month for phone, cable, and internet. So that was for 2 people. This is $445.39. I'm talking into my phone like she can hear me into my phone, but she
so $900 a month for 3 people for internet and phone and cell phones. $900 a month for 3 people.
No wonder you broke.
Like, I understand streaming is getting expensive now, but even with all of the streaming services, you're only looking at maybe $100, and then unless you're paying for God tier internet, maybe $100 there, and a phone, there's another $100, and if you get cable, then it starts making sense. But that is ridiculous.
When I add in for, again, we have 4 lines, I think 3 phones still under contract, because it's like I don't have lots of jewelry, but I am a spoiled brat and I always like to have a new phone. And if you add in our internet, we stream, we cut the cord, we just stream, and all of that, we still don't get to 445. I think our total is 400, maybe. That's for 4 people. Well, and I mean, granted, internet and cable is not 4 people. It's just 2 of us, but we also work from home. So we have a higher internet package for that. But yeah, this is wild to me. This is just wild to me. And then again, going back to the $1,800, sorry guys, my glucose thing apparently thinks I'm going to die any minute now.
Please don't drink a Gatorade.
It's irritating. I'm fine. I think it's just a connection issue, even though it says it's low. I'll eat something in a second. I will say about the food. When I broke my leg many months ago, we like, I'm not even joking. We eat out a lot more than we had. It's just too difficult to like walk around in my kitchen
Yeah.
with aides, and it's exhausting, and it's just not easy. So I phone it in a lot. Um, I've relied on that a lot. I haven't even come close to that number. And and there have been some weeks I've done takeout for dinner, especially every night, and
Mhm.
not come close to that number.
Like, we went out to a restaurant here, and they do a kids eat free program if you buy a full entree, and the entire bill came out to $35. Like, there's no way that for two whole entrees for $35, and yet you're paying $1,800 a month in food and housekeeping supplies.
Right,
when
because we're not just talking about like,
Yeah.
oh, we had a weird month or even a weird 6 months. This is like, this is what we pay. This is what I pay. No, no way. Even with 2 other people on the
Yeah.
bill, I don't see
That,
how.
well, excessive food ordering for 3 people. The only other thing I can think of is like the top shelf booze. Like you could burn money fast with
Yeah,
high-end booze.
I
yeah.
could see that, but that would be reflected on Ron and Jan's account if that was them, unless she was like, I got to have goose every night to put me to sleep.
Maybe she's the one buying and drinking it. I don't know.
Well, it's certainly possible, but I'm
I
not
don't
going to cast proclivities on that.
is it
Yeah, I'm just
is
trying to
it
figure out how to
eligible?
do it.
Now,
Feels like that would be an entertainment cost.
no, the other thing about the $1,800 is when I read that originally, I said food and housekeeping. I missed the supplies portion. I was like, okay, he spends $800 a month on food and then $250 a week to have housekeepers come in. That sounds reasonable because you can understand that, Jan doesn't get around as well. She might not want to clean, so they have people come in and clean the house and clean the casita, even though it's a pigsty back in January last year. But beside that, you of every video that's been inside the casita, place looks great. There's no you can't say anything bad about the inside of the main residence.
Yeah.
Well, if that's true, Brad, didn't they put it in the wrong row then? Because shouldn't that go in services, personal care products and services, as opposed to
No, that'd be like
supplies?
hair and makeup and whatnot.
But there's no cleaning services.
No, there really isn't. But that's why I said I incorrectly dropped the supplies portion of the statement before rereading it, and like, oh no, I need to buy cleaners. I need to buy a new Swiffer mop, or things like that.
Mhm.
But you're not buying 10 Swiffer mops a week to pick up dog hair and whatnot.
Jen says, "What would a trustee do about a questionable amount like that? Require receipts?" I I think that would be questioned. My opinion is it would be questioned. Because I have to believe it's over the allowable threshold for that.
If I had a cleaning, if I had a cleaning service every week, I would want that on a different line than just food. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like maintenance or something.
Well, like 2 adults and a toddler, we spend roughly $1,000 a month in food, and
I believe that.
that's and we're not buying bougie products or anything like that, but we are buying like Voila meals or a banquet lasagna or something to throw in the oven and things like that. We're not going for super great products. I largely eat quick things that I can toss in a microwave or whatnot. But $1,000 a month we're certainly comfortable with that.
Got to treat yourself every once in a while, Brad.
Well, that's what
I give you permission.
that's what the Little Debbie's Christmas tree cakes are for.
Oh, there you go.
But I seem to remember, like in Ron and Jan's filing, that the number was too low. So it's just weird. But I'm asking for confirmation. want to say it was $600. I could be wrong. So I was like, how?
Jennifer in the chat said specialty nutrition shakes. It's like, I understand that, you know, if you're you're a bulking person and you're buying protein mixes, I mean, unless you're buying like athlete level protein mixes, that may be $100 a tub, and that'll last you a while, especially if you're buying the 5 pound ones. But like, there's no way that you're buying like, okay, here's how we get to $1,800. She's buying a protein tub a month for $100. She's buying AG1 for her greens to be able to get all of that stuff, because that stuff is like $180 a month or some stupid number. And then she's getting only organic vegetables and fruits and all grass-fed beef, chicken, pork, etc. And that still would probably only get you to $1,000 for one person.
Also, she's not consuming Tom Brady calories here. You know what I mean?
There's no way.
Somebody mentioned it. I lost the comment, but somebody said that could be justified as a horse feed expense. Like that could be true for horse feed, but that's not what they're asking here. I get that, but I think that's a good point where you're trying to like pad certain boxes, right, with other numbers to make it. I could see that.
More love makes a good idea. She could be buying meals at Berries, and she's buying $30 salads because they're there and available. Which,
yeah,
you know, that gets you to half of the cost. That's $900 if you're eating a berry salad every day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was pretty right on though. Like,
gosh,
yeah.
I think my take on this whole thing is like everything we find is that it raises new questions, right? Like it.
$900. That's what it was. Food and housekeeping supplies for Ron and Jan is half this.
Yeah.
Half this.
Okay.
Zigzags. Okay, so clothing, laundry, and dry cleaning, $225. Okay, that's too much in my opinion, but whatever.
So the casita doesn't have a washer dryer hookup, from what I could tell. So she probably has a done by the pound laundry service that will do her whatever she needs.
Yeah.
So $225. I would consider that approximate cost.
Yeah, that would make sense. We've had some things cleaned and recently that would make sense. We actually just took all of our blankets.
There's services like that for the college kids in the dorms because if you don't want to use the coin op.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. I think for somebody who doesn't have any income whatsoever, it's there is a laundry room in the house.
If she was having her budget evaluated by Caleb Hammer, he would probably be like, do you have a washer dryer? Then wash your damn laundry. But if you don't have it, then it's a lot easier to say, well, if you don't have it, then you literally can't, without going to the coin operated place to go get it done.
Because I think you could make the argument that it's closer to the laundry room in the main house than it is to get to the garage, right? Don't you have to go through the laundry room to get to the garage, to get your car, to put your laundry in your car and drive it somewhere? So
I mean, you could go outside through the fence to go in the garage, but
you could, but you get my point.
Yeah,
it could be done in the main house if you absolutely had to, because you didn't have any income or any money and you only had $7. Where are the quarters at that you take to the coin line?
I feel like I'm not prepared to life coach Laura at this point.
But like when I was living in subsidized housing, after my mom split from my father, we would go to my grandparents' house and do laundry, because instead of paying what amounted to like 75 cents a load back in the early 90s, when you're making $5.15 an hour, you know, that's a lot of money to someone when you can just take your laundry to grandma and grandpa's.
Yeah. Machines broke one time and we had to truck our laundry all over the place. So yeah. Anyway, 225, like I said, just seems as a consistently monthly expense a lot to me when you don't have a job.
Right.
Especially, okay, personal care products and services, 100. When you're spending nothing on medical and dental, but you're spending 225 to clean your clothes, I judge you. Entertainment, clubs, recreation, newspapers, magazines, and books, 250. Get a library card.
That's a generous book budget, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it is. Get a library card because you can get the newspapers, magazines, and the books, and you can even get some of your streaming services through your library card.
It's for
So,
clubbing, guys. Come on.
yeah. God. Absolutely no insurance expenses, which is
That's even
weird
weirder because she has a car and the car would have to be required to be under someone's insurance policy.
and also she owes Blue Cross money. Blue Cross is one of the creditors. So that's weird. And we have a car payment, $432.63. And her taxes. She makes a little note here. And then she has no tax liability. I am under the income threshold for owing taxes. Okay. Sure.
Sure you are.
And then again, here we have this total of 330302, which is different than 4700. And then we don't have any description of sets of 2750 from a mysterious benefactor.
It's not me.
I want to try. I could have sworn financial affairs. Okay, hold on. This was more interesting on Ron and Jan's forms because they had income to talk about. But this really doesn't, because she's claiming nothing. Although, let's get to this though.
This one, that's the big one.
This is a nugget in this document for sure. Do you have any income from employment or from operating a business during this year or the 2 previous calendar years? So that would be from January 1st of the current year till now, the last calendar year, which is 2024, and the entire calendar year before that, which is 2023. And
bingo.
We just say no, nothing. Which again, I mean, doesn't match statements that have been made in court, under oath, on documents, by affidavit. Like, it doesn't match anything that's been said, even on social media, to be honest, about what they're making.
I mean, in terms of getting in trouble, Tiff, do you think this is the biggest discrepancy?
Yeah, I feel like it is, because again, I mean, Jan said the podcast makes $17 a month. You can't tell me it wasn't making anything in 23 and 24. There's a one of the Instagram accounts did a whole thing about it, how popular it was, and it did start to fall. Don't get me wrong, it fell before any of us came along, but it still had to be making something. It wasn't zero, in my opinion. But
yeah. And I don't even think it's about what it actually made. It's that she made claims under oath in court, and now she's making claims here under oath in court, and they're inconsistent.
Yeah. That's my point as well. Thank you, because I didn't say that very well. But I mean, it was literally on the record in court. And there's we looked at the transcript. It's very clear. So, and it said it even matched her, because we didn't get to see her financial affidavit. It was sealed, but the question was to confirm what the affidavit said, and it was in the affirmative. So that's not zero. It's not nothing. And then it says, like right here, fill in the total amount of income you received from all jobs and all businesses, including part-time activities. I don't know. Has she been 1099 on any of her horse competitions? That'll be interesting.
Well, so here's the interesting thing. So she, the writer, won a number of events, so she likely would have gotten that prize money, and it would have gone into an account and came back out of account as a check cashing. And I imagine the discovery on her checking accounts is going to be wild.
Yeah. I just, because I'm nosy and I want to see, like, I want to, even though I can logically say and reasonably say that this does not add up and can't be true, I'd like to have proof and documentation, and I would like to compare it. This is wild. And so any other income this year or the previous 2 calendar years, income, include income regardless of whether that income is taxable. And it goes into all the different kinds of things. And I mean, it includes lawsuits, royalties, lottery winnings. I mean, not a friggin' dime came in 3 years. Because I mean, we're in December now. It's 3 years.
It doesn't make sense, because even if you have a checking account with $500 in it, you'll make like 15 cents in interest or something. Like,
Thank
it'll be a
you.
number.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we play our, so what we do is, like, throughout the month, we'll charge the things on our card, and then we let the money sit in our account. And like, we have this like specialized checking that earns crazy interest because we have a credit union. And so, I mean, we earn like $500 a year in interest.
Yeah. If
I
you can
can
get up
support it.
to, if you can get up to 3-4%, you can start to make money. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ours is 6 and a
Yeah,
6 and 6.
but
that's
you've got to
really
have
good.
like an average daily balance of like 10 grand in order to start getting some of that money.
Yeah, they'll have
Yeah.
criteria and all that jazz.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, get a credit union too.
But if you can get it, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the key to that is, one, budget properly, get your emergency fund so that you've got at last 6 months savings so that you have the ability to withstand a financial hardship that would become you. And
Yep.
then by virtue of having that, you will have amenities like interest savings, high interest checking, and be able to take advantage of some of those things where, by virtue of budgeting and being smart with your money, the bank is paying you $500 a year.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we, like I said, that's what we do. And we have high yield checking, that's what it's called. And then the money market, and the money sit and do stuff for you. It's wild to me.
More Love 44 is giving me flack. It's like, you can't get an emergency fund if you don't have a job and you don't save money and you're spending all this money on everything else and you have a bunch of horses. So it's like, well, yeah, that's true. That lesson's for you guys, not for Laura. Laura's boned. Like,
she's incapable of shifting gears now, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a magical.
I don't think we can life coach her at this point.
No, she's not coachable. So I'm just going to skip down here because I want to get to the one thing I've been saying. I thought I was getting to it faster than I am, but this is like, these are all going to be no questions. They're frustrating. I think they're probably maybe wrong in some cases. You know, did you pay any other debts for an insider? We ran into this in Ron and Jan's filing, and the answer is no. But I mean, if you're paying $1,800 a month for food, it's not going to just you. And then, yeah, did you make any payments or transfer any property on account of a debt that benefited an insider? Yeah, I mean, these are no answers, but this family is so intertwined, I just don't believe it. Here's our addendum with the legal
legal
actions.
cases.
Yeah, and so what we caught on to here as well is that, I mean, this is funny to me. This is actually more completed than a lot of even her accounts, right?
It's the one thing that she keeps intimate records on.
Exactly. Because we have check boxes here and everything. I don't think it would have been too difficult to Google this information. But anyway, in the Owens v. Gillespie line item, it says not a debt, a DVRO. Well, nope, it's actually also not a DVRO. Wasn't that? That's not what you had. It was an OOP. But okay.
You know what I
No,
think is funny is that she knows the case numbers for the things she filed, but she didn't put the case number for the Arizona versus her case. Like
right.
she's gonna let's just sweep that one under the rug here.
Skim over that one. Surprise is not listed last, right?
Well, that was
Um,
this was filed 2 days ago, which means that she's already gotten her public defender. She could
Yep.
just ask him and be like, "Hey, what's my case number? I need to put this in this bankruptcy information."
I could tell her what it was. I mean, we have it.
Rob has memorized all the case numbers.
For
She-
real. I don't know how he does that, man. I can't.
She follows
So-
all of the Twitters and the Instagrams. They've posted the number, or at least the link to the docket. Like,
Yeah. Like you could have easily gotten that information, but it also is very like Owens. It doesn't say which Owens. I don't know. Anyway, this is just, our court cases because we have to take up 4 lines for our court cases. No property's been repossessed. And they didn't so this question is if any debt was offset, this would be like if she had stuff in storage and they repoed it to offset the debt she owed. The answer is no here. So within 1 year before you filed for bankruptcy, was any of your property in the possession of an assignee for the benefit of creditors, a court-appointed receiver, custodian, or other official? I
I
don't
think
know.
that's properly no, because
Yeah, I started to think something about coal thread fees, but nah, I guess not.
because she would own that. That wouldn't be for a benefit of someone else. I would think like
Yeah.
the house under Liz Max would be a property, but that's under the LLC and not her specifically.
Yeah. Benefit of, I guess. Yeah, I'm getting hung up on how to explain that one, but yeah, no, it doesn't apply. You're right. No gifts. She didn't give anybody any gifts. I don't know how much did Nugget cost. Do we know how much Nugget cost? Because he had to have been purchased within the last 2 years. And I had to believe he was for $600.
That's giving someone a gift?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you give any gifts with a total value of more than $600 per person?
Well, if anything, it would have been she received the gift, likely. But then that would be like a pet, and she transferred the pet to her parents to get claimed. So
I'm sorry, am I reading wrong? Within 2 years before you filed for bankruptcy, did you give any gifts with a total value of more than $600 per person? Am I reading that wrong?
like she didn't give Sarah a baby gift of $1,000 or anything like that.
I think she bought the horse for the nephew, is what I'm saying.
Nugget for the
She
nephew?
bought that mini horse. Right?
Oh.
She gave the mini horse to the nephew?
But
I think so.
Sarah was living in New York and now California, so it'd be really weird to buy a mini horse that's living on your farm to.
I'm not saying it made sense, Brett.
Well, no.
Well, like, you know how you can like donate, like let's say I donate $1,000 to the food pantry and I say
Yeah.
I want to do this in my mom's name.
Yeah.
Is that a gift? I mean, I think
Well,
that's
Well,
what
there's
the
a
TIF is going for here with the
Right.
pony. Except it's a pony.
But doing it for your mother's name, you are receiving the tax benefit from that. Not that she pays taxes.
True.
But like if somebody that we knew passed and they said, in lieu of flowers, please give a donation in to this animal rescue or whatnot, you'd be doing it in their honor, but you would be receiving the tax benefit for it.
Correct.
Did you give any gifts? The total value of more of $600 to any charity? No. So she hasn't donated any of that clothing that she has, anything, to charity. Okay.
Well, so you can donate stuff to charity, and they always say, "Do you want a receipt for it?" And 9 times out of 10, you say no.
Yeah. Especially if you don't itemize, if you don't file taxes.
Brad, do you really think Laura here is a very charitable person?
No.
I don't know. We don't know. Well, I mean, she hasn't given more than $600 to anything, so she
Uh,
hasn't
according-
donated to the GoFundMe.
Say according to the record, she has not given any money to anything, so that would be less than charitable.
At least over their threshold.
Certain losses, right? Certain losses. Yeah, nothing theft, fire, disaster, gambling. Payments or transfers. Within 1 year before you filed bankruptcy, did you or anyone else acting on your behalf pay or transfer any property to anyone you consulted about seeking bankruptcy? No, dumb. No. And I believe that.
Now, does the Lizmax or anything else of the hiding of her assets for the judgment fall under that? Not for the
It does
purposes of
not that one, but there is another one it does. Hold on. Here it is. Within 2 years before you filed bankruptcy, did you sell, trade, or otherwise transfer any property to anyone other than property transferred in the ordinary course of your business financial affairs? So I know people are going to get hung up on the ordinary course of business, but there's two things going on here. She transferred her horses from her personal name to Quartet Farms, right? And to me, that is an absolute insider trade or transfer, because an ordinary course of business transfer for Quartet Farms would be if they bought a horse or sold a horse to a third party, right? That's an ordinary transfer. But this is not an ordinary transfer. You don't take the horses in and out of your personal name and your business name all the time, like back and forth. You don't do that unless you're avoiding stuff. And then secondly, transferring the LLC membership from your personal name to Lizmax is also, in my opinion, not something that is in the ordinary course of business. It is a tactical move for obvious reasons and timing.
No, the interesting thing about this is I get hung up on the property aspect because it makes it seems like real estate more so than items.
Mm-hmm.
Because it talks about security interest in mortgage on your property, and it doesn't mention it specifically calls out don't include gifts or transfers that you've already listed in the statement. So it's by my reading, it sounds like it's only dealing in real estate transactions, unless.
See, I got hung up on the same question, and I might have. No, that's the one I thought.
I mean, it's got empty spaces there for you to describe whatever you transferred, so it could be more. And you can always attach addendum sheets and be like continuing chapter or 6, 18, and then.
So, like, we can't even use Ron and Jan's form as an example, because even though if it were true about the mortgage as security, they should have listed their last 2 mortgages. Did you sell, trade, or otherwise transfer any property to anyone other than property transferred in the ordinary course of your business or financial affairs? Include both outright transfers and include both outright transfers and transfers made as security, such as granting a security interest in a mortgage. So, I mean, horses are property, right? But you're saying the LLC isn't property, so to speak.
Well, not so much that, but it just makes it, the reading of it makes it sound like it's dealing more so like it's dealing with real estate property and not with.
Yeah, I follow you. So, like, in my world, they call it real property to like differentiate between personal property and real estate is called real property.
Right.
You're saying if this was only real estate, they would say real property.
In my world, but not. I mean, I could see what Brad's saying here, and I do follow what he's saying, especially with the way they describe it as granting a security interest or mortgage on your property.
Well,
So
that's an
did it,
example. It's just
yeah,
such as it's not, that doesn't mean it's exclusively that example.
I feel like I looked this up too when we came across this in Ron and Jan's. I feel like I went to like the booklet, the instruction sheet, and I can't remember what the answer was. We might have to put a pin in that question and address it later because I have the book, like the instruction book. It's not small. Um, oh,
Oh, interesting.
Salvadorian.
Answer it.
Salvadorian. They just give it as an example. It's not only for real estate. So Salvadorian used to work in bankruptcy stuff.
Mhm.
So it
I
says,
mean,
I asked Grok. Grok says, answer it means any property, not just real estate. The question is deliberately broad and includes all type of property, such as real estate, cash or money transferred out of bank accounts, vehicles, boats, trailers, ATVs, etc. Versus livestock, tack, show equipment, guns, jewelry, coins, collectibles, cryptocurrency, or investment accounts. Business interests or LLC membership interests, household furniture, appliances, electronics, payments made to family members, friends, insiders, anything of value you give away, sold it for less than it's worth, or titled in someone else's name.
Like a
So
horse.
catch all, literally. So I was wrong. And
I hate that though, because literally from one line to the next, it'll be very specific
Yeah.
and then it'll be wide open.
This is why you
So
need
I
the
can,
instructions.
yes. And there are instructions and you can just follow them. So if I'm filling out this form, I'm going to follow the booklet for each line, or I'm going to Google the line and find out what am I supposed to put here. But that's me because I'm a twitch about filling out paperwork.
That's fair. And it's a big book of instructions. This is harder
Yeah.
than putting together IKEA furniture.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, so that's another thing. Quartet Farms is leasing several horses, so it's getting paid for the contract length of the horse lease. Yeah, I know that they also recently sold a horse. I don't know how many are under lease currently. I thought it was just one. Maybe it's more than one. But they recently, I should say, in the last year, sold at least 2 horses, I want to say. So this is just, anything else that you have anywhere else, right? Do you have anything being held anywhere that you didn't tell us about, including like what are they called? Bank deposit boxes, shares,
safety
anything.
deposit boxes.
Yeah, safety deposit boxes. Thank you. All that kind of stuff. They want to know. So there's no money market account here for Logic's credit union. That's weird.
Your Swiss bank, your Swiss trust of diamonds or whatever.
Oh, her boss babe real estate money is gone, I guess. Oh, that's a safe deposit question. Sorry. The other one was just money. Do you have money sitting in boxes sitting at banks anywhere? Okay, slow down, Tiff, and just read the question because it's not what it says. Within 1 year before you filed bankruptcy, were any financial accounts or instruments held in your name or for your benefit closed, sold, moved, or transferred? Include checking, savings, money, and market. So if you opened a different bank account and what that would be where you would list this information.
Do you need to get a candy bar? Get your blood sugar back up?
Apparently.
I hear if you do a wellness check on the Owens household, you get some candy bars for free.
I'm not going there. I'm not. I mean, it's cold enough, but I'm not going to Arizona. I'm not going to see the Owens. Let's put it that way. Have you stored property in a storage unit or place other than your home within 1 year before you filed bankruptcy? No. Identify property you hold or control for someone else.
Someone's
she's
putting
not
their boat in my yard.
She's not holding the GoFundMe money. And this is environmental stuff, which I just think is weird to list here. I'm sure there's reasons for it. It just doesn't apply. So I'm just going to skip over it. Hazardous materials, environmental stuff. Here's where we talk about our businesses. Within 4 years before you filed for bankruptcy, did you own a business or have any of the following connections to any businesses? Okay, well, now I'm going to apologize because I do know why she listed Liz Max here, because it's within 4 years
4
before you
years.
file bankruptcy. Okay. It also explains why it's not completely, but so she says she's a member of a limited liability company or
Was
part. Huh?
or was.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Was an officer, director, or managing executive of a corporation. Okay. Um, an owner of 5% of the voting or equity securities of a corporation. Okay.
I think because Keybacker's not an LLC, or one of the companies wasn't an LLC. One of them was like a sole proprietorship, I think. Yeah, Keybacker's
Keybacker is
Incorporated.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then yes, check all that apply and fill in the details below. And we see, I mean, okay, first of all, I know for a fact this information right here is available. This information she can get very easily. And I could tell you, I mean, check the Padlet if you want to know when these businesses opened, but whatever. We've got Liz Max with no explanation, no address, no EIN, nothing. Keybacker, same. Stylet, same. Oh, I think it was Jen's somebody sent me the Stylet was, yeah, it's very similar to, I think that's maybe what I'm getting hung up on. It's just a very similar business to the Good Luck Shop. It's a clothing
Could at
resale
least
shop.
fill out the description of it, you know?
Right.
Hmm.
Like,
It's not
but
like we're in a hurry here.
look at your LinkedIn profile for some of this information, right? Like we're in a hurry.
Yeah.
This one's interesting to me too. Within 2 years before you filed for bankruptcy, did you give a financial statement to anyone about your business? Include all financial institutions, creditors, or other parties. So, like, does that include a financial statement in a court case?
Yeah, could be.
Think it should. And here again, we have a under penalty of perjury, right? So,
You're saying for the criminal case, she gave financial statements.
no, for Clayton's case, they did financial statements.
Okay, and
Both of them.
that's within 2 years.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Okay. Well, the criminal case would be included too, right?
But she wouldn't give Liz Max's stuff
Right.
for it. She would say, I make this money, but that's not the business's financial statement.
Oh, I see.
I guess you're right. So I could, yeah. So I gave Ron and Jan crap that too, but yeah, I guess I see what you're saying.
But this could be when you applied for a credit card for Liz Max and you said, well, Liz Max makes this amount of money, then, but when did that credit card opened up? Was it within the last 2 years or not? Because if it was open prior to that, I mean, they didn't buy the property until mid 23, so that's likely within reason that they would have had to have given some kind of financial statement in order to be able to prove the sufficiency of the credit card.
Oh yeah, or the loan, right? No, it would be outside of 2 years. If she signed the agreement to purchase in late August, I think, of 23. So technically outside the window.
Mysterious.
Interesting. Okay, I guess I must have. Oh, here we go. Our statement of intention. This is the form I am interested in, because I mean, I have lots of stuff I'm interested in this whole entire document, but this one is interesting to me because we've got our creditor for the car loan, right? And what is our intent to do? What do we intend to do with the property that secures the debt? Because the creditor has to be made whole somehow, right? They can't just let you keep the car and discharge the debt.
Right.
We have to either swap seas or something, right? So she intends to retain the property and enter into a reaffirmation agreement. Well, that's fucking rich because how are you going to do that when you don't have a job?
Yeah. You claim zero income and
Right.
330 or $3,300 of expenses.
Right. I mean, you
I mean,
can't.
the reaffirmation agreement is her, version of a dating contract with Gingras to get in the car and flee to Mexico. I think that's probably what it is.
Right. I just need to keep it long enough to get out of here.
Yeah. It's an
Yeah.
escape vehicle.
Yeah. It should be a Ford Escape.
Getaway driver.
Or a Bronco.
But yeah, this
Yeah.
one, I don't know, like it was like, what? How? How? Who would agree to that? I don't know that the trustee can agree to that. I don't know. I don't know. I literally don't know. But that's very interesting to me. It's my last note. Like, reaffirm with what income? What, what, what? Insane. Okay, hold on. So Salvadorian says she can reaffirm it. It's her agreement to repay. If they repossess at a later date after the bankruptcy is discharged and there's a balance forward, she will owe it. Okay, but like they're just gonna let her reaffirm without any proof of income or ability to pay. That blows my
Well,
mind. I don't doubt that that's probably what can happen. It blows my mind that it's a thing. No.
here's the interesting thing. If she's claiming she has no income, but her monthly expense includes the 432-ish dollars of vehicle payment, where is that money coming from? Because if
Yeah,
she's not behind on her payment for the car thus far,
mhm.
then that means that money is coming from somewhere that she is not disclosing.
Yeah. And so Sour Doreen, what do you think about that? Like I'm blown away by that she states that she has even if we take out some of those ridiculous numbers, right? And we rebalance them. Let's take $1,500 off the top. Let's say her monthly expenses are just $1,500, including her car and her food and everything, right? Which I think is reasonable for somebody who lives and
Yeah.
rent free. But
It's the family money that she listed would
yeah,
cover that. But the problem is the family is filing bankruptcy also. That's the catch
right.
22.
And the thread leads right over there, right? Yeah, okay. So it's not a problem for her bankruptcy. It's a problem for her parents if they stay in chapter 13. And I think that's my whole thing is that we got this shell game, right? But we're lifting up the shells, but we're still trying to play the shell game with one shell left. Wow.
I
Are
think what
we
Doreen is saying is you have to let the shell game play out so that the
Yeah.
process can have the correct remedy for all these problems you're finding.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like, I mean, I'm irritated that a lot of this paperwork is incomplete, but they'll color out on it. It has to be completed. You can't
I mean,
leave.
have we
Get away with
discussed
that.
the over under on whether Ron and Jan stays in chapter 13? Because they're already looking at possibly getting it kicked down to 7 because there's almost no way that they're going to be able to continue making that repayment plan as stated.
Yeah, I don't give them any chance of being successful. I really don't. If it gets confirmed, and that's a big if, I don't see it being successful beyond 2 months. I think it'll get I don't think I mean, we made one payment. As far as I know, they still have not made October or November's payment. And we're coming up on December. Where's this money coming from magically? Eventually, so I said this a year ago, a year and a half ago, when I initially talked about these people and the games they were playing and the money. Eventually, it runs out. Like, eventually, you run out of options. You run out of, places to pull from. Sometimes it takes longer, right? But it happens eventually, I believe. I don't know. And yeah, some of the GoFundMe is floating something, but I don't know for how long. There's their entire life pattern that we've watched, right? That other video I did where I went over the mortgages going back to the 90s. Their entire pattern of financial behavior has been making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. I don't have faith that they will suddenly make a solid, beneficial decision for themselves. They could have done it when they moved to Arizona. That could have been the reset. Arizona could have been the reset.
Right.
And it wasn't. And not only that, I mean, I don't like to blame Ron and Jana Locke because Laura's an adult, but like, they didn't set her up for success. Okay, yeah. So if they don't work out a payment plan or modification of the mortgage and the bankruptcy is dismissed, the parents' house will get foreclosed on. Absolutely, it will. I don't even see them being able to sustain a modification. It may be a delay tactic that they can take advantage of, right? Because there are programs that lenders have programs that set people up for that. They are very behind. I mean, we're into a year now that they're behind in that first mortgage. Not as behind on the second mortgage, which is interesting, but
A lot of money.
I don't see them suddenly becoming financially responsible. It would, in my opinion, I think letting that house go is best case scenario for them.
That
I
changes a lot of the calculus for the family, but the funny thing is the income doesn't change because they lose the house.
Right. Right. So if you lose the house, right? Okay. Then you buy rent or whatever, move into something more affordable.
I mean, even if you got a condo at $500,000, I mean, it's expensive. But it's within their means. They can support it. They could get cleaners and whatnot. They could even put Laura up in a studio apartment for $1,500 and still be doing okay.
And it would suck for Sarah and her husband. Again, they're adults. They know what they signed. And it's not too difficult to recover from that. It would be the second mortgage that would most likely go after them if that happened. And if they did, and a lot of them don't, believe it or not, they just write them off. But if they did, it would be something they could make arrangements on, and it would be survivable. It would be unfortunate, but survivable. But $21,000 a month is no joke to live on. That's completely sustainable.
even if they were to take all of the debts and say, okay, you're going to get $12,000 a month. We're going to take the other 10 off the top and say that's going to go to paying debt until you die. However long that is, hopefully longer than shorter. And that still gives them a lot of money to work with.
Yeah. I don't know how much of their actual income is collectible. A lot of
Social Security income?
Yeah, it's exempt, I believe.
Okay, so the Social Security only accounted for 4.5, 5,000.
I don't know about retirement. I don't
and then
know.
Pension or retirement, however you want to call it.
I know earned income is not exempt from judgment collection, right? I'm not sure about retirement. Really not. Oh my gosh, sorry guys. Jeez oh Pete's. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it was not destroyed. That so I think people hang up on credit too much. It's not destroyed. It's not destroyed. It's it's dinged
Inconvenienced.
pretty hard. Yeah, it's dinged pretty hard. But I mean, that stuff drops off after 6 years, right? As long as it's resolved. So
I had to voluntarily repossess a truck in my early 20s, and man, it sucked for those few years until it fell off. But once it fell off, it was like, oh,
yeah. And sometimes even before it falls off, it's not bad. Like it's just I used to help people. It's the one mortgage company I worked at with. And yeah, you can survive it. I'm not I don't think it's great, but see, yeah. Many pensions are also exempt, depends on state statutes. So I don't know if the fact that they moved matters. Um, but huh, yeah, 7 years is a long time for a young family. It's also it goes by so fast. Um, but I don't think it'll hobble them by any means. I think that they will survive it. I'm not saying it's not the most dick move, um, for them to roll, but, mm, maybe. Depends on if it's by advertisement or not. I think if it's by advertisement, it's still could be wrong. Sorry, yeah, actions on foreclosure is 10 years, is what someone Germany said, for staying on your credit. But I think if it's a foreclosure by advertisement, it might still fall under the statute limitations timeline.
Chapter 7 trustee cannot touch your Social Security, 401k, IRA, or pension money, even if you have millions in the account. In Chapter 13, you don't have to count Social Security income when calculating your payment plan. You don't have to count exempt pension or IRA withdrawals as income for Chapter 7 means testing or Chapter 13 commitment period.
So you have to be careful with this.
You're breaking up there, Biff.
We lost your audio.
If you commingle your money, your Social Security money with other money, then it can be subject to
Hmm.
garnishment and whatnot. Hold on here. I saw a question I wanted to answer. So Jan is taking out a very large life insurance policy on Ron. I think it's her nest egg. He literally, no, he literally is a golden goose. That's the question. I disagree. I think Ron is more, it's more beneficial for Ron to be alive. I don't
Yeah.
believe
The pension
any
doesn't
policies.
carry over. Social Security benefits, she would get survivor benefits, but not pension.
Not a lot. Half? Yeah. Yeah. And that pension is where it's at, man. I wouldn't want to give that up because a policy is going to last until it's gone, and it can't. And I would be surprised if it's a $500,000 policy. I really would. I don't. The premium, $1,500 a month, does not convince me that it's a large policy. He's 80 years old and he has chronic health issues.
Yeah.
That is probably right. I think if I bought a life policy for that much, it would cost me that much because I have chronic issues. So, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it is. Sure, you're right. So Jan did list life insurance as one of her monthly expenses, and it was 1,500. It absolutely is, but that doesn't equal a. I knew it. We knew what you meant. Sorry, Jan. That doesn't equal a high payout. That money, that's 2 years of income. You know what I mean?
It also depends on whether it's whole life insurance or term insurance.
Yes, I think it said term. It did say it did define it. I don't remember what it said.
$1,500 a month for term insurance is wild.
Yeah, I
'Cause
could be wrong.
I started studying to become a life insurance salesman and
Oh,
getting into annuities and things like that. But
I have my license, but only because of my job. Like, I just basically have a producer's license, and it's not even, it's just for title insurance. But
Somebody tried to get me into Primerica, so that's why I started it. But
yeah, got this.
I mean, are you
Yes, it is,
expecting
yeah.
good decisions from these people at this point, Brad?
I would like to. My good nature and well being would lead me to believe that they would be on the and some of the things that I listen to, my daily podcasts and whatnot. We as a society are so blessed with information. We literally have access to the entire bit of the internet at our disposal through little devices we carry in our phones, and the amount of knowledge that we can get out of it is so unfathomable because it was Tim Pool was talking about it, that if you were living in like the 1400s, you could literally read the entire body of works of everything produced within the society because there was so few assets to be able to do that with. But now it's so voluminous that you can learn dang near anything outside of military trade secrets, things like that. But you have the ability to learn so much about things that are very basic, finances, budgeting, things like that. It's so readily available that it's in Tiff's idea. Get a library card. You have access to not just, budgeting books, how to start an LLC, how to do all of these different things that can set you up. And what people don't realize is that time is valuable. When you do small things very early in your life, they can compound on themselves to grow into huge life-changing decisions that only took this amount of effort in your 20s.
Oh, your mic is a far away sound.
Starts to happen at the end. But yeah, I think that's the missed opportunity in all of this, is that they had the ability to set up themselves and their children for much better than this. I did look up on Ron and Jan's forms, and it says it's term life insurance on Ron. It says surrender or refund value is 0, but the beneficiary is not listed, of course. Like, anyway, but it is $1,500 a month. Oh, thank you. And let me tell you, without ATB, man, whoo, I wouldn't be able to do it.
For sure.
I'm always like, what's this? What's that? And we get the answers. I did put a link to the Padlet in the video description. So please check that out. We're adding documents as we are able to. I say we, they are adding documents as they're able to. But oh, let me go back to this form. I guess I can hold on. Oh, hello to myself, as I just saw I just pulled up the wrong screen. Let's just, there we go. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll do another one with talking about the filing on Ron and Jan's the trustee filing. People were asking me, and I'll answer this really quickly. People are asking if that filing basically extends the deadline that the trustee gave on the last filing, the shorter one where he said it was if you don't do these 4 things, I'm gonna move for dismissal. And then he did his recommendation filing, which is the most recent one that did extend it. I confirm that it extends the deadline for them, which is fine. Whatever. I mean, I think if they don't make this 3rd payment, we're going to start to see objections from the mortgage company. And they're going to want that automatic stay lifted. And if a payment's not made, I can't see why it wouldn't be granted, because you can't pause forever. You can't use this as a shield forever. You can't
Mhm.
put people on hold forever. So,
They might think they can, but
mm?
they might think they can, but
Oh, they absolutely think they can. I think that's what Laura's whole point of doing this is, right? Is to stall and delay. I do think she stepped into it. And this isn't going to, I mean, why do you think I was begging? Please, please, please file, right? Like this isn't gonna go the way you think it is, but I'm sure somebody will be in Discord tonight reminding me that Ron made $1 million billion for his career.
well, I think the interesting thing would be if anyone at the Maricopa County Attorney's Office look at the financial statement that she sent for being indigent and then takes this bankruptcy filing and is like, oh, well, look at this. And then be able to say, hey, she's not truly indigent because she's somehow receiving 4250 in from her family in some capacity. Well, 4250 is a lot more than zero, so that wouldn't be not indigent.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we'll see, we'll see the status of when, like we did with Ron and Jan, when they stopped making payments, and we'll be able to see a lot of those when the claims start coming in from her creditors. We'll see. Is that car loan up to date? Are those Macy's cards up to date? Was a Gap? There was a Gap one.
Yeah, there's Gap one.
Yeah, I'm not trying to listen. I said I have a Lazy Boy card because I did, because it was a crazy discount. But I mean, get what you can. I just don't think carrying a balance for a lot forever and ever is a great idea.
I mean, I got
When
a
you don't have to.
$1,200 Lazy Boy couch, but I mean, it's not like I went out and bought an entire Love Sack set for $6,000.
Right?
Well, you're not carrying the debt for a long time. I think that's the point.
That too.
Yeah, that's a thing. Because you should absolutely use certain things to your advantage, I believe. Get
Yeah.
those discounts, get those 0%, but when it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For me, the thing is watching them put all this stuff into court records, because then it's like, what discrepancies can we find across these cases? Because that's where they're going to tease out any crime, if any. So for me,
Yeah.
that's the interesting part here.
Yeah, it really is for me because, like I've said before, I mean, I feel like Laura has as much of a hand in their finances as her own, and maybe even more, to be honest. So this is revealing. All of this is revealing. Like it's connecting dots that I had a feeling were connected, but now I can see they're connected. And man, I just like it again, it makes my brain itch. When there's
Just
where's the 2750 coming
yeah.
from?
Just the style of how these were filled out across the two bankruptcies. It's almost like the same person filled it all out, or they sat in the living room together filling them out, or something. Like, you know what I mean?
It's it's
Well,
almost like that, Bruce. It's almost like that.
but the weird thing is that Ron and Jan's was prepared by an attorney. Laura's is self-filed,
Yeah,
and it reads like it.
yeah. Yeah, it does. But
And I
it's
would say,
self-filed by somebody who filed 100 and plus pages on a renewal for a restraining order, right? Like, don't tell me you're not good with detail.
well,
I guess
sure,
fancy
but
detail.
I think the one thing that we can infer, especially on a lot of the missing pieces of the business stuff, is that she wrote this with the intent of delaying the judgment debtors exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% in believing that she did that for the purposes of delaying that, because there's no real reason why. Because if you were just to declare bankruptcy in a normal sense without a sense of urgency, you can go get all that information. But she was running up against a clock where she was going to have to lay bare the same exact finances that she has to do for bankruptcy
Yeah.
but for the judgment debtors exam. And she didn't want to do it, especially in front of Woodnick.
She could have done bankruptcy the minute she got that first judgment.
Yeah.
Back June, whatever, 17th or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I think Quartet Farms, if anything's profitable, it's Quartet Farms. I think that it's and I shouldn't maybe just barely, but I mean they're leasing horses, they're selling horses. Money's running through that business.
They have
Um,
hands on the farm. Like, they've got to get paid.
yeah. And they're stabling horses. So, you know, there's money. I don't think it's making them obnoxiously wealthy by any means, but there's money somewhere that they are desperately trying not to share.
I mean, if their net expenses are $10,000 a month and they're profiting $5, well, they're at least covering their expenses.
Yep, exactly. And I just think there's so many possibilities. Well, the timeline will truly tell what's going to happen out of it. I do the same thing I did with Laura's case. I don't hold high hopes for charges coming out of any of this stuff for them. It's a game that a lot of people play, I think, unfortunately. Maybe, but all we can do is point out the inconsistencies
Mm.
with the separation from reality, however you want to call it, right? Yeah. Maybe. The comment is I bet my IT Quartet Farms is not or it never has made a profit. I don't know. I mean,
So here would be the thing. If it's not profitable, where is the money funding the loss coming from?
right.
Well,
Because-
that's why they're in debt.
Right, but outside of the how much unsecured debt does Ron and Jane have? Like 250K?
600.
600. So that's a lot of debt, but it's a lot harder to make payroll on credit cards than on cash.
Yes.
Because it's not like you can just say, I'm going to give Joe Smith over here his $2,500 weekly pay and then have it go through to be processed. That money comes from other means. It doesn't mean that they can't finance operational costs like feed, hay, transport costs for horses, uncut cards. They absolutely can do that. But going back to Tiff's point, then you're commingling different finances.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what it is. Whatever they're making proceeds on these businesses goes to pay the top priority things like you're talking about, like pay an employee, a contractor. And then everything else just becomes debt, and it has avalanched over time with all these bad decisions and other loans, and maybe there's cash advance loans, whatever they did. And they're finally at this breaking point where they can't pay Colesrude.
yeah.
History inside of things, but I do know like my cousin has a horse farm and you stable a horse at a farm and then the way you pay for that sometimes is that farm gets to use the horse for training and competitions and whatnot. So you're not technically leasing the horse out, but you are providing a service through the horse that otherwise you would not have the ability to do. If that makes sense. And that's my very, very, very minimal understanding of how it all works.
That would be really weird because who would be paying the insurance on the horse if it has stable value like that? Because if you're subleasing your horse for another business to be able to use in competition or what else, does it fall under that business's policy for your horse now?
I know that they have policies. They have a policy they pay for their horses. It's not much. It wasn't cheap. No, Laura is not my cousin. God, no. She wouldn't survive up here. Um,
Probably each business that's involved with some activity that could involve liability has to have a business insurance policy.
Right. And that's the thing, is that when you get into businesses, liability is everything, especially when you start talking about lawyers, because you if you're boarding a horse at a stable for the purposes of stabling, then they would have a policy, an umbrella policy that would cover, natural disasters, things like that, that would cause loss of the horse and things like that. And then you get into things like, well, if they are going to be transporting your horse, is that covered into your contract? Because if you're boarding a horse, you would be the one who would be assuming liability by transporting the horse to their premises. But if they're transporting them elsewhere, then that would fall under their liability. So it gets weird really fast.
it does. That's a whole spider can of spiders of insurance liability. So I don't know if there's like a cooperative agreement between certain policies, types of policies.
It could be they have an umbrella policy of $20 million that covers anything that has to do with equestrian, anything that doesn't cover fault. If something is at fault, then you would be assumed liable for it. But any unforeseen action involving anything equestrian would fall under the policy.
Yeah. See, just
in much broader legal terms, not summarily described by me.
no, but I follow what you're saying. I absolutely follow what you're saying. Let me see something right back here. See if I can find it. First of all, 7 retired horses for $1,000 and 1 dog for $100. Sure. Okay. Anyway, I know there was horse insurance, $425 a month.
I mean, that's more expensive than my car insurance, but it's also more expensive.
Sorry.
I mean, in Michigan, our car insurance is notoriously bad, but our car insurance is surprisingly decent in comparison to that.
Yeah. That's monthly. Oh, yeah. Monthly. This is yeah. So their animal maintenance expenses for 7 horses and a dog is $100.
Yeah, that doesn't jive, because they don't have acres of land that they can get free grass from. They're bringing in hay. So, and the animal sanctuary near us says that they pay $240 a day in hay.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I mean, find someone who understands. We have people. I just sometimes in the conversations that we end up having on these other streams turn into a whole different story that I didn't plan out. Like I didn't, and Boots is probably already gone to bed by now. So Boots is usually the person that I go to for her stuff.
I think the only consistency here is that a lot of these numbers across these different incomes and expenses and domains are all a little suspicious.
Certainly.
Yeah. Like I said, I was like, I saw the filing. Ron and Jan's was more interesting, and I don't think it was just due to the volume. I think it was also more information was provided, but I think that's also probably due to being chapter 13, right? You have to put it all out there.
Well, they actually had income and things like that
to
talk about. There was more to talk about.
Wasn't a lot of zeros, and don't look behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know if you were the same person that said it earlier, but her I think Laura mixed up her grocery expense for her horse feed bill. Yeah, that I would believe.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that could certainly cover all of that, but that's still a absolutely outrageous number for food. Because here's the thing, I don't think that food number was for horse care expenditure or pet livestock expenditures. It's only with the idea of sustaining the people within the household.
do you think that she actually has never had to pay that expense, so she's that oblivious to it that she thought that that was a logical number?
Like a what is that TV show? With the Bluth family, Arrested
Oh, yeah,
Development, where she's
yeah,
like, "How much could it cost? $100?" You know, you think she's just out of touch like that?
yeah, I'm wondering, like, I don't see them like I mean, I have a spreadsheet for my budget, I don't see them managing stuff like that. That spreadsheet for those credit card bills alone would give me nightmares. So,
I in my head, I can just picture her going and swiping on the card that her mother gives her, and then the one day where it gets declined and she has that dreaded face. She's like, "This never declined. Why is this declining?"
right, right, what's happening? It's your fault. This is your problem. This can't be my problem. My favorite thing was Jan saying that she couldn't do the business tax returns because all of her credit card accounts were closed and she couldn't log in to get her statements so she could figure out how much her
I
business.
don't I don't
I
buy
don't buy
that.
that at
I
all.
don't buy that.
I
If
know.
I
I
never bought a TurboTax product again, I would still have access to every TurboTax filing I filed going back, I think, 7 years, if not longer.
Yeah. I think it may have been more difficult for her to get the information, or maybe, but no, it's not impossible. And you should have thought of that. And you should have had that information prior to 2 years later. Like we're talking about 23 returns, even.
But
You didn't.
even still, I don't think this family is paying for TurboTax to go through their $1 million of stuff, plus the at least four separate LLCs that they manage and run. It's got to have an accountant somewhere managing all of that.
Maybe.
I really
And
think it's bad decisions more than just like intellectual incapability.
can it be both? I don't know. I mean, maybe it can't.
Maybe.
Maybe it is one or the other. I
Maybe
don't
with the
know.
maybe for the parents, but I feel like Laura, like Brad was saying, with the internet, she can figure this stuff out.
Right. You can easily pull up examples of what to put where. And
This
if
is
you figured out how to file
yeah.
some very complex court filings and write pages and like the lack of information in this document comparatively to the other filings we've seen from her, it's just like because it can't be a narrative, right? It's
Yeah,
gotta be it's gotta be yes and no boxes. And
Yeah,
even it can't there's
when
no
when
space.
when Laura does something and there's information in it versus information not in it, there's a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that stuff is not gonna fly. You
It may not
can't.
be a good reason or a good decision, but she has reasons.
Okay, for example, like all those creditors, no account number listed, no information listed. Like when you notify a creditor about a bankruptcy, you have to provide that information for proper service. So like it tolls your timeline. Your timeline can't even start. So she's got to fill it out. She's just got to fill it. It's got to be corrected.
but like even the accounting information for the LLCs, like there's a specific box that says if you have an accountant, what's their address for managing it, and if it's you, then you put self or something to be able to say that, hey, I'm the person who's entrusted with doing all of this documents. However, that also puts you at the liability of like, okay, well, where's the fucking documents? Because if you're not providing them, then there's a problem because you're the person who's supposed to be filing and keeping track of all this stuff.
Do you know how much work? Like, I guarantee none of that's been done, right? Like, they haven't had a ledger, for example, for the Airbnb, right? Just that alone. That requires a monthly ledger to be maintained. How much came in, how much went out, where did it go, whatever, right? Dates, money, amounts, everything. I guarantee that's not put in anywhere. That's not entered anywhere. So all the time, effort, and money that they've put into everything over the last several years hasn't it's not even got like then we have this whole void over here of necessary information that they should be keeping and fixating on. I don't know. I'm not maybe my blood sugar is low. I feel like I'm blumbering now, but blumbering? That's not a
Well,
word.
it's 3 hours of stream, so
Holy cow. Well, I'm definitely gonna get my hours up. Dang. I didn't mean to keep you guys this long for real. It's late.
fine.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just blown away. Like I said, it's like, what is this? This is this form is a joke. It's not. There's basic information that's very easy. Like I said, I could find the EINs for those LLCs. I know I could. I know I could.
So maybe to wrap this up, do we want to bring up the notice of incomplete or deficient filings?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Let's do that real quick. Where did it go?
I think my overall conclusion is just a very sad one because from the age of 18 to 33 or 34 or whatever, like this is all
I got it in the private chat if you want it.
this is all she has to show for it, right? Like it's very sad. Like it's wasted opportunities. It's putting energy in the wrong directions for this many years.
I can't see the.
There's a tab up top that says private chat and comments.
Yeah, it's gone. I know what one you're talking about, but it's not
gone?
there. Yeah, I've seen it 100 times and I don't see it now.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'm trying to even like scroll all the way back up even though
I see your link. It's in the private chat, not the.
Yeah, I
There.
know. Like
How about
my
that? It's in Discord.
Oh, there we go.
my text box where I watch comments is not showing me the private chat. That is very strange. I've never seen it not show that. Okay, maybe I have something setting because I've seen it before on a stream. Okay, anyway, thank you. That's where I was a second ago. Right. This is, okay. Okay. It's AKA. Okay, so this is when you file your petition to file bankruptcy, it has to be complete. Like that's they're big on that. And if it's missing information, like immediately upon filing it, they will notify you that you need to correct this list of either missing information or it's mostly missing. Like it's technical stuff because they're not picking apart the whole thing like we are right now. They're saying, hey, you didn't follow schedule, or you didn't sign a page, or you didn't complete this one task that needs to be completed in a certain time frame. So this form is telling her that if she doesn't complete these and address these deficiencies, and file the required documents, their case will be dismissed without notice. So this is saying, like, this is it. This is your last, like, we're not playing games. We're not going to let you file a form and then say, oh, well, I can't come to court that day and I can't find an attorney and I just looked for one last week and all that stuff. No, we're we're going forward or we're not. So they
So
did
the,
this in what the Hales case. They kicked hers out right away because it was just bad.
so the interesting thing is that the bankruptcy form was filed on the 8th.
Mhm.
This document is dated the 8th, which
Yep.
means that the clerk looked it over and was like, no, you got to fix it today. Well,
Yeah.
within 14 days, but that's a pretty quick turnaround time for finding deficiencies and then sending the.
And I'll bet you they just have intake clerks that do this, that probably kick these out all
That's
day, every day.
speedy. They need
Yeah.
some of those clerks in the DUI case because Rob is like, everything's going slow over there in the court.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says entered 322. It was entered 321. So they may have just processed it all at the same time.
Yeah. This was
So we're looking
Well,
for
and
checked items in this document, or
it being done. I don't think the checked. See, yes, checked documents. Thank you. It might be, since it was filed electronically, some of this might be an automated process as well. Could be wrong.
Interesting.
So what's missing here is a Chapter 7 statement of your current monthly income and or a means test calculation. It's required to be filed within 14 days of the date of the filing of the bankruptcy petition, federal. If your debts are not primarily consumer debts, then you must file a statement of exemption for this document, basically.
Well, who claimed that they are primarily consumer debts and didn't specify that a paternity judgment would have been an other debt?
And I think that she probably didn't complete this form because she doesn't have income. Maybe she didn't think she needed to, but I mean, like, that's not how. You've got to still check off the boxes, even if they are zeros. Okay. Just trying to see if there's I could on it. Let's keep going here. Continue to the next page. Oh, and other. Schedule C should also be filed. Schedule C is the exempted property. So, like, her car, there's a certain allowance that you have to keep your car if you can reaffirm your debt. So anything that she wants to keep that she doesn't want the bankruptcy court to be able to sell, she has to list it on that, which she's saying she doesn't have anything except for her car. So she has to fill out Schedule C and put her car in there and say, I'm going to keep it. And because it looks like maybe underwater on it, depending on what number you consider her value of, that would be why she would need to. Oh, you know what? Yeah. It's her clothing and all the stuff on Schedule B. The stuff she wants to be able to keep, she has to fill out on that form, right? Schedule C.
Because that's where they give you the allowed limits of those.
Yes, that's what we were missing that whole time when I was thinking that must be the like the $750 in mostly used clothing. I said that must be the limit. Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't want to keep any of that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, I wonder why she didn't file that form. That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that she didn't file Schedule C. Well, again, I think this was a very hastily done, process. Like,
I mean, the debtor's exam was literally the next day, so she didn't have a lot of time to file it. And if it was filed on the 8th and entered 15:22, 3:22 p.m. on the day, everyone closes up 5 p.m. You're talking an hour and a half's time that she was allowing herself, and then some. I mean, going by the dates of the document, she could have filed it at noon or whatever the case may be, and then they didn't enter it until the clerk got to all of the papers and then scanned them in and did all of that stuff.
She knew about the date for the debtor's exam far in advance, though, correct?
And filed the notice that there was a conflict with her criminal case.
Correct. So she could have filed for bankruptcy. She had a huge window of time. Or at least to work on the paperwork. A large window of time. Oh, Tiff, we can't hear you. It's like
That was
fuzzy
me
and faint.
too. Sorry, that was me being quiet. That was actually, yeah, sorry about that. I was looking for, which I somehow lost. Here it is. Where'd it go? The electronic submission. Hold on here. I was trying to see, here, I'll share this page. I was trying to see if she, if she checked all the boxes on her electronic submission form. Just here. Voluntary petition, statement of financial affairs, declaration about individuals, schedules, statement of intent, chapter 7, statement of your current monthly income. That one she was missing. I don't think that one qualifies because she doesn't have income. The statement from presumption of abuse and the means test she was missing, right? And Schedule C. I thought it listed all the schedules that you had to say you were including too, but apparently not. I don't know. What I was trying to get at is I wonder if she submitted these like through a portal or if she emailed them to the court. It doesn't matter. It's just a curious thought for me. Sorry.
That's fine.
I was just thinking. Yeah.
Well, the one signature was a real wet signature, right? Because she
Yeah.
wrote it with a light pen. There it is, a light pen, and then wrote it with a darker pen.
So some legal documents you have to sign in blue ink for this reason, so that you can tell that they are not photoshopped on. So I wonder if that's why she had to trace over it in blue.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. Like my PDF program, I can change the color, make it look decent. You would think her version of Adobe does that. I guess she's not paying for Adobe Premium anymore.
Well, yeah.
It was not listed as a business expense.
Right?
That we could find.
Red ink is not okay. Red ink is not okay
No.
for legal documents.
Do not do red ink.
Blue preferred.
Blue.
Black is sometimes okay.
There were times in the military they would be like, no, you have to use blue ink. It's like, why? Everyone has black. Like,
Yeah.
well, because that's...
So we can tell if it's a copy or not. But like with scanners, not like it doesn't. That's an old school thought. So you can tell whether it's an original or not. But really it doesn't apply anymore in our current technical world. Okay, guys. I got the other document. It was short. I did not realize that. I thought there were more things that she was deficient on. But it's important stuff. I just didn't realize only a few of those boxes were checked.
Well, I'm sure the trustee will have feedback.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I tried to find like the other trustee has like a whole web page with like it's actually nice. Like these are the forms you're gonna need if you have any LLCs or I require this affidavit and blah blah blah. Like they can make their own little subset of rules. But I didn't find anything for this trustee, so except for some appeals cases that I think we're gonna like this trustee. I think we're
Oh,
gonna like this trustee. Yeah, Trustee Haley.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Saw some appellate cases they're involved in. I think we're gonna like them. So, oh, here, let me hold on. Found a quick way to do this. There we go. If I just close the the tab out, it does it faster. I don't have to do the extra clicks.
yep.
Okay. Thank you guys. Sorry I made this way longer than I planned. Holy cow.
I feel like
worries.
I was talking for most of it. So
No,
Learned a
well,
lot.
we can hear you at least. I am gonna
hear you guys.
figure this out. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go over that one. I don't know when. What's today?
Wednesday.
I don't know when. Maybe tomorrow, but I want to go over that filing, the new filing from Ron and Jan's trustee, but that'll be a really short one. But it's not. It's good. I like it. I like where he's going. Sounds like he's paying attention.
Very cool.
Thank you, Rob. Very much appreciated. Good night, everybody. Okay, here, I'm going to end it now. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Get a library
Bye.
card. And that